Storm blowing in.
No, just a sticky storm. It is plus 90 on the old scale, 93 degrees Fahrenheit as we arrived at Independence Stadium tonight. And they have just brought the game ball in by parachute as the Shreveport Pirates get set to open their 1995 home season against the Calgary Stampeders. Doug Flutie has really been quite a story down here, Leaf, when everyone has been talking football and talking about this game.
Yeah, he really has. You know, he's a hero in the States, you know, as you mentioned, former Heisman Trophy winner. And for head coach Wally Buono, what a lucky guy he is to have a player like Flutie, and quite frankly, a player that stays healthy like Flutie does. All the running around he's able to do in the backfield. He's been a great performer for us. Greg, hey, how about him? He gets to finally start a full year with the kind of players that he wants, John.
And he had a tough start to his season last year. The Pirates were 0-14 before Forrest Gregg finally coaxed a victory out of them. 35 degrees Celsius, not much of a breeze, which is too bad. It might cool things off just a little bit. But as we were talking earlier, he said not quite as humid as it might be in this neck of the woods at this time of the year.
No, it's really not. And there's Billy Joe Tolliver, 6-year NFL veteran, most recently with the Houston Oilers a year ago. His most productive seasons were 1991, 90 and 91 with the San Diego Chargers, whom they drafted. Third player taken in the 1990 NFL draft. So, I mean, at one time he had some terrific credentials. Can he still get it done? Remains to be seen.
And there's the guy they're all talking about in Louisiana, at least this week. Doug Flutie in his 4th season with the Calgary Stampeders, his 6th in the CFL. And he has had an outstanding career in Canadian football with touchdowns all over the place and a 57% completion percentage during his years in the CFL. He can get it done for the Calgary Stampeders, and this year he'll try and erase a couple of problems that the Stampeders have had in their last 2 seasons. They have been the best team in the Canadian Football League through the regular season, but the playoffs have been a different story. Waiting for the coin toss to get things underway. They're just a little bit behind time. We're on Louisiana time down here, and things do move a little more slowly.
Take it slow. Take it slow.
Pirates have won the toss, have elected to receive.
That was the story in 1994 when they got together in late October. Calgary with a 52-8 victory over Shreveport.
John, you and I did that game late in the season. Obviously, in October, it was a cold, blustery night in Calgary. And I must say that the Shreveport Pirates did not seem too interested in that game. A little late coming out from the warm-up, and it just was not going to be their night, you could tell.
Looking back to that game, Leaf, Alan Pitts had 3 touchdowns and set a new Stampeder record for receiving touchdowns with 19 at that stage of the season.
You know, interesting chatting with Wally Buono and trying to find out where this team is better. Obviously, they replaced Brian Wiggins and Will Moore, who are free agents, down trying their luck in the NFL, but they are better at fullback. Sean Daniels, they got in a trade late last year from Saskatchewan, and he has really solidified the backfield. He and Tony Stewart, it allows them to do a few different things. Their fullback before was merely a blocker, but now they have 2 people back there that can run the football, so they are better at the fullback position in 1995.
It'll be a Stampeder kickoff, and I think we're almost ready to get things underway. As the Pirates drop 2 deep, that's Freeman Basinger along with Wayne Walker, number 80. You might remember Walker from playing elsewhere in the Canadian Football League. A couple of years with Ottawa, brief stop with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah, Basinger started out with Sacramento, was traded to Vancouver, and now ends up at Shreveport. And they do have some terrific speed and talent returning kicks for the Pirates tonight.
Mark McLaughlin has the football evening in Shreveport underway. This is Freeman Basinger right at the 20-yard line. Basinger finds a seam and he's out near the 40-yard line, stopped at about the 38. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Mr. Sub. Fresh thinking is what we are, and it is Billy Joe Tolliver starting at quarterback for the Pirates. They believe the NFL veteran will make them a much better team with his play at quarterback. The offensive line looks a little bit bigger and a little bit better than last year with a little more CFL experience. The receivers are top-notch. Walker and Mayfield on the outside, Basinger and Rod Harris on the inside in the slot. It is 1st and 10 for the Shreveport Pirates. They begin at the 38-yard line, and Tolliver works from the shotgun. They're in a hurry-up offense already as Tolliver goes under and finds Freeman Basinger for a gain of a couple of yards.
And one thing the Pirates wanted to do to start this game, their offensive coordinator Joe Barnes told me, was to go to a hurry-up offense right off the bat for a couple of reasons. To try and get some momentum early for Shreveport, but not allow Calgary to make any substitutions and hinder their defensive calls and adjustments on second downs.
Gain is 4. This is 2nd and 6. Oliver with 3 receivers to the far side. He looks in that direction initially. And now throwing on the run. Comes up short of the first down. Martin Patton couldn't hang on.
Wow, gambling situation on the first series for Shreveport. And, you know, Forrest Gregg really has to go for it here. He has to show some confidence in his offense, and I think he has decided to do just that.
Patton is about a yard short of the first down. Actually, it's a short yard late when you look at it from way up here. They are going to measure it to make sure. The referee in charge of proceedings tonight is Dave Ewell.
And that's good for Shreveport to have them measure. It allows them some time to regroup and get everybody settled down and on the same page for what could be a pretty crucial play early in the game.
Good call. Do you like Gregg's call here?
Oh, absolutely. Showing confidence in his offense that they can get the job done.
Less than a yard to go. They're not quite to midfield. Just shy of the Shreveport 50-yard line. Third down, less than a yard to go, and Tolliver himself, but there's some movement on the line. And we'll see which way the penalty is called. Procedure call.
That's a tough one because they had the first down, and now, of course, Forrest Gregg has no choice but to kick the ball away if it does go against Shreveport, as it will.
69.
Boy, the little things, you know, Shreveport is a team that's really struggling for identity. Had a tough opener with San Antonio last week. They got hammered pretty good, and now a chance to start off with a pretty good drive, pick up your initial first down, and silly mental mistake on a procedure call means they have to bring Robbie Keane in and punt it away. That's a tough break early.
Keane with a decent average last week, 41.5 yards. Good charge on Keane that time. Coleman on the return, and he stopped after a gain of a couple. 33-yard punt that time. As Stampeder quarterback Doug Flutie has been the CFL star of the 90s on a mission to get Calgary back to the Grey Cup again. New up front, Bruce Beaton, first start at left tackle. Rocco Romano will anchor the right side. And 2 new starting wide receivers. Inside as strong as ever with Pitts and Sapunjas, and it'll be Tony Stewart to run the ball for Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of number 88, Vincent Danielson, too. He's the backup slot back, and he'll come in when they go to that 5-receiver set, which they like so much.
Flutie and the Stampeders beginning at the 32. Little play action. Here's some heat on Flutie, but he gets away from the initial pressure. Not this time. Flutie was sacked 3 times last week, and he's down early this week as Ray Savage got through. And here's the defense that the Pirates are sending at Flutie up front. Reggie Rogers and Ben Williams, strong pass rush. Eldonte Osborne is the key to adding some pressure from the middle linebacking spot. And former Argo Jonathan Wilson is new on the corner, with Joe Fuller having the most CFL experience in the secondary for Shreveport.
Really only 3 changes on that defense from how they finished the season. I mentioned that in the opening, and boy, that must mean that they like the people they finished the year with, and that's a pretty good front 4 if they don't get tired.
Procedure call against Calgary, and Flutie's a little upset. Looks like the newcomer Bruce Beaton might have taken an early step. No score early in the opening quarter at the Independence Stadium in Shreveport, Louisiana.
5 yards.
Well, if you can read the lips of Dave Ewell, he indicated that it was Bruce Beaton, and what a tough break for Wally Buono to lose Bruce Coverton so early in the season. Here he is. Watch Bruce Beaton right there, and he moves, brings that left hand. Once the hand comes up, that's it. Referee blows it dead. But to lose Bruce Coverton, who's really been the anchor for the whole season early in the year, is a tough one to overcome.
Flutie from the shotgun facing 2nd and 17. Stampeders back at the 25. Flutie stands up and fires just over the head of Vince Danielson, number 88.
Shreveport playing an over defense to the field, the left side of your screen, and look at the vision downfield for Doug Flutie. Kind of surprising that he missed this pass because Danielson at 6'3" is tall to begin with, but that was a pretty easy ball to complete. And boy, if you're Shreveport on defense and you see Flutie do that early, you have to feel pretty good that maybe he's not on top of his game at the beginning of this ball game, which is always good news to the opposition.
Now there was a penalty called against Shreveport for rough play, so automatically the Calgary Stampeders come up with a first down at the 40-yard line.
Well, that's the second silly penalty that's really cost Shreveport.
This is Tony Stewart, and he is met immediately. First through that time was Reggie Rogers, number 75, and he got help from Mario Perry, and also the other Perry, Ron Perry.
Well, Reggie Rogers, watch him work on the nose of Jamie Crysdale, and he just simply overpowers Crysdale, fights through with the right shoulder there, takes on the block, splits the two of them, actually double team with Denny Chronopoulos, and what a play from Reggie Rogers. Spent some time with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but that's the key for Shreveport. Get penetration from your two tackles.
No gain. This is 2nd and 10, Stampeders. Flutie looks to his right. Far side and almost picked off by Tony Williams, number 21.
Now Flutie again getting a little bit of pressure up front. Best thing to do is to run away from it, as he does, and he is very fortunate. Tony Williams, who steps in front of Sapunjas, doesn't have the interception. Shreveport will play 6 and 7 defensive backs against Flutie tonight, and that's pretty good first defensive series for them.
Tony Martino in for his first punt of the ball game, standing back at the Calgary 25. High kick deep. That's Freeman Basinger looking to the outside, has a little room, but there's a marker down. 50-yard punt, and Basinger still on his feet. They may call it back. Freeman Basinger takes it all the way. There is a marker down at the 35. And the indication from referee Dave Ewell, an illegal block. Clipping on the return, so Freeman's run will go for naught. No score, early first quarter.
Shreveport 27, 15 yards, first down.
Timeouts. Clipping call against Sean Lawson. We'll take a look when we return.
Well, the third silliest penalty that Shreveport has taken tonight results in some terrible field position for them. A procedure, a roughing, and now a blocking from behind by number 29, Reggie Carthorne, on Eldred Johnson. Now, the thing is, if you can't get your helmet in front, I mean, coaches have said for 100 years, do not block them, because the only thing that's going to happen is the ball is going to be moved 10 yards back. This is a terrific return by Basinger, but my, oh my, the little things right now, and that so often happens to a young team, are just killing Shreveport.
Third penalty of the game against Shreveport. It's cost 32 yards and a long return there. It would have gone for 6, but the Pirates will now begin inside the 15-yard line, first down. Tolliver from the shotgun. Gets some heat in the grasp and fires to an open portion of the field, but the play was actually whistled down as Johnson got through, number 81.
Yeah, Will Johnson had some pretty good heat coming from the outside, and the Calgary front four is working against a huge Shreveport line, but this is a tough group. Will Johnson, boy, you look at his production throughout his career, just amazing. All Canadian.
Led the
4
Stampeders.
straight years, John.
Yeah, led the Stamps in sacks last season with 17. At 15 in 91, CFL sack leader in 1994 as well. Tolliver handing off to Patton. Patton has to get out of the end zone. He's out around the 6-yard line and forced out there. Finley is in the neighborhood, and so is Zizakovic.
That's a pretty tough place for Shreveport to run with the football, and I think Billy Joe Tolliver did the best thing. I know Joe Barnes, the offensive coordinator, is calling a lot of the plays for him tonight, but I think you just have to bite the bullet there. They don't want to give up the turnover early. Might as well punt and make Calgary earn it.
This is Keene standing about 15 yards deep in his end zone. Marvin Coleman wetting out around midfield, so the Stampeders on the exchange should have outstanding field position. Keene lifts this one high. Coleman is well covered, but squirted through for about a 4-yard return. 47-yard punt. And Doug Flutie out onto the field for the Calgary Stampeders. 27,000 yards passing in 5 years and a little bit.
You know, where do you start when you talk about Flutie? Do you say that he's 4 in a row MVPs in the league? You say that 2 times in his career he's been over 6,000 yards, an accomplishment that no other quarterback in the world has done. I mean, there's just so many things to talk about.
Or do you start with 179 touchdown tosses? He'll hit 200 before this year is over. This is Tony Stewart, and Stewart has had a tough time getting out of the backfield tonight. Reggie Rogers, 75, was there to meet Stewart that time. Stewart had 93 yards rushing last week.
Reggie Rogers having a pretty solid first quarter, and watch, he just takes on the block to the left of your screen there. There's 75, and he's taking on 64 Bruce Beaton. Beats him and gets into the backfield on Tony Stewart for no gain, and Reggie Rogers is cranked up.
No gain. It'll be 2nd and 2. Stampeders at the Pirates 52. No score. 9:02 to go. Opening quarter. Flutie with time. And he's on target to the new receiver on the right side. That's Terry Vaughn, number 2. Vaughn described by head coach Wally Buono as a James Murphy type receiver.
Yeah, he's about the same size as Murph was. Vaughn's about 5'8", Murphy a little bit taller, but technically an extremely good receiver. What Wally Buono likes about him is when he catches the football, he is a tough guy to tackle out there. I think you just saw a nice display of that.
27-yard gain, setting the Stampeders up just outside the Pirates 25. Stewart tries again, and this time the hole opens up. It is Stewart all the way down to the 15-yard line. 10 yards the gain.
What a year Tony Stewart had a year ago. The first Stampeder to rush for 1,000 yards since Gary Allen did it in 1986. And, of course, along with that, the production was there in the touchdown department. But, you know, they were worried, could he play a whole year and not put the ball on the ground a lot? And he really solved a lot of problems for Calgary. He was a very steady performer. In fact, played all 18 games, which is kind of unusual for a running back these days.
Not quite a first down for Tony Stewart, but the Stampeders are awfully close. So on 2nd down, Flutie has an option or 2 here. He's got great weapons with Sapunjis and Alan Pitts, and neither have been involved in the offense so far.
They will be.
Very quickly, perhaps right now.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry. That is a given.
Yes, sir. An inside passing team, the Stampeders are. They've got 4 receivers to the near side, lone back in, and Flutie himself for the first down on 2nd and a yard.
You know, that looks like a very simple play, but when you put 4 receivers out like they did to the wide side and you put Tony Stewart in motion back weak, you don't need much of a seam to spring Doug Flutie on that quarterback sneak. He has scored on that play in the past.
Stampeders with 3 first downs. Shreveport still looking for its first. 7:28 to go. Opening quarter. Stampeders 1st and 10. Now to Shreveport 15. Flutie looks to the end zone. Far side. Touchdown. Alan Pitts. And we just had to mention his name, and there he is in the end zone.
Well, he made it look pretty easy, too, working on the rookie, number 00, Harold Nash, and nothing fancy about this one. And you'll see Doug Flutie's head. He's looking at Pitts the whole way, never wavers, and as Pitts makes the break to the outside, he works back towards the goal line just enough to keep that separation. And it didn't take long for the Calgary Stampeders. Once they had the good field position, a few plays later, Flutie has them in for their first touchdown. They made it look kind of easy.
Solid march for the Stampeders, but they did have decent field position, as you mentioned. McLaughlin makes it a 7-0 score for the Stampeders, leading the Shreveport Pirates. 6:58 to go. There's the man, Alan Pitts, into the end zone. One more time.
CFL live on TSN. Brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Bell Advantage Long Distance Services, from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Welcome back to Independence Stadium, where the Calgary Stampeders have just scored the first touchdown of the ball game. Alan Pitts from Doug Flutie from 15 yards out, 60th career touchdown for Alan Pitts in a Stampeder uniform.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's only 2 away from the club record for touchdowns held by Tom Forzani. I don't think there's any doubt that that record will be broken this year. Is there any record he won't have when he retires?
I don't think so. Here's Basinger having a little difficulty on the return, and he's out for about a 4-yard gain after finally picking up the football. So again, Shreveport starting deep in their own zone. The scoring play took only 5 plays and 2 minutes and 52 seconds. 52 yards, and Flutie to Pitts, 15 yards. They've done it a time or two.
Yeah, you look back, though, how that whole series was set up. It was the blocking from behind penalty on the good punt return by Basinger. Now, all of a sudden, they're in a hole, and before you know it, Calgary scores. I think it's really important for Billy Joe Tolliver to get a couple of first downs at least to try and get some sort of confidence on his offense.
First down, Tolliver, and here's the Heats. Tolliver steps up and has a strike over the middle. Solid play by Tolliver as he connected with Wayne Walker. Here's the way the Stampeders line up defensively. Best in the CFL in 94. Up front, it's intact. In 94, up front, it's intact with Laird, Zizakovic, Walker, and Johnson. Super linebacking core with Finley. Moving to the middle with Pope and Johnson, and Marvin Coleman and Kim Phillips have experience but are new on the corners for the Stampeders. And there's some early movements. Kenny Walker was across the line for one. And I think Zizakovic was a stride or two early himself. Walker, number 99. Wonderful sense of humor, the strongest player on the Calgary Stampeders, according to some reports.
Offside. Calgary before the snap. 5 yards, first down.
First and 5 now.
Let's hear it, everybody. Let's get your offense.
Pirates at the 49-yard line. Tolliver avoiding the heat. Markers are down as Tolliver fires to the sideline. Montgomery made the catch and stayed inbounds. We'll check on the penalty back at the line. Number 4, Fred Montgomery, led the nation in kickoff returns 2 years running at New Mexico State.
69, 10 yards, first down repeat.
Penalty against Ben Jefferson, number 69, the right tackle, so they'll take this one back.
This reminder from Fast Friendly Services, 59-minute photo featuring drive-through.
Ben Jefferson at the top of the screen. He's the one that's going to get called for holding here. Watch as he's working on the outside. Yeah, there's the hook right there. You see the left arm right up under the jaw of Will Johnson. I think Chuck Reed, 58, the left guard, could have been called as well. But once again, penalties really the story here in the first quarter for Shreveport.
Now it's 1st and 20, or 1st and 15, I should say. Back from 1st and 5 a moment ago. Tolliver can't get away from the rush this time. Slowed down by Laird and then nailed by Zizakovic, with Johnson actually getting credit for the sack, number 81.
Well, the great thing about the Calgary defense over the years has been their ability to just rush 4 people and not have to blitz to get pressure on quarterbacks. And, you know, they've done that on so many occasions here tonight with having to bring extra people. And, boy, you just become that much tougher covering, too.
2nd and 16, Pirates. More heat. Tolliver tried to get it to the junior Smith. And Smith couldn't make the catch. There wasn't much running room on that side for Smith anyway, I don't believe.
Well, the problem is they're trying to set up a screen, and you know, you have to slow down the rush just a little bit. I mean, you can't let them in too soon, and Billy Joe Tolliver really had no time to set that up properly. And, you know, I talked, John, in the opening that what Shreveport needs more than anything else is time to meld together, and you can see that they just haven't done it in 2 preseason and 1 full season game so far. They just look really disorganized out there right now.
Keene for Coleman, and Coleman retreats to the 15 to take it there. block, and he's out near the 30-yard line. 57-yard kick. Decent return. Stampeders first down when we return. Calgary on top of Shreveport, 7-0.
Good job,
Leaf, you know at McMahon Stadium in Calgary and Commonwealth in Edmonton in November when they put the heaters on the sidelines? Well, this is the air conditioning on the sideline at Shreveport, and it's nice and cool standing between those fans down there.
Now, I'd have a whole new appreciation for you if you had some pull to get that thing up here.
Yeah, it's a little steamy in the press box tonight. Penalty's a big part of the story. 57 yards against Shreveport, and they just tacked on another couple of yards on the return. Shreveport for unnecessary roughness, so Calgary gets out across the 45-yard line to begin this drive, just helping the field position for Doug Flutie out just a little bit more with 15 yards.
Well, you know, for Forrest Gregg, I mean, it's tough enough when you're a young team playing a top team in the league and to play them straight up and not make mistakes, but when you couple it with penalties like this, 5 so far, and we're just barely halfway through the first quarter, it makes your task next to impossible.
So Flutie and the Stampeders leading 7-0 with 4:34 to go in the opening quarter. Begin at the 46-yard line. Stampeders scored the last time they had their hands on the football. It was Flutie to Pitts. Flutie to the far side, and he has Pee Wee Smith, who's forced out. Pee Wee Smith in his first season as a regular starter for the Stampeders, but he's had a stellar career in Calgary, and in fact last year when you looked at his numbers, they were rather impressive. 46 for over 800 yards.
Well, Pee Wee can get it done, and he's getting a chance now to start every single game. A nice call on first down, the quick screen of the wide receiver. Fortunately, it's going to come back against Calgary.
Holding Calgary number 21. 10 yards, first down repeated.
That's the running back, Tony Stewart.
And he was throwing the lead block on Sean Lawson, the corner, but going back to Pee Wee Smith, you know, he's always come in kind of in the 5-pack. It never had a real chance to be the starter. Now this is it for him.
Not that he hasn't had starting assignments over his seasons in Calgary due to injury, but he has never really been listed as a starter at wide receiver. Gets his chance this year as the Stampeders have to fill in. First down and 20 after the call. And I'm not sure who Flutie intended that for. I suppose it must have been
Sapunjis was coming on. That's a play they put in for this game. It's the 3 receivers to each side. He's the third receiver, top of the field, and they just try and get it to him quickly on a kind of a slot back screen play.
Looked like it was a little closer to Chronopoulos there, number 53.
I'll tell you what, he had some running room if they complete it.
It'll be 2nd and 20, Stampeders. Back at the 36-yard line now. Calgary leading 7-0 in Shreveport. Flutie stands in near side, and it's picked off. Second interception for Williams. Tony Williams celebrating, and the Pirates have life here deep inside the Stampeder zone.
Tony Williams might have had one earlier had he not dropped the football, but this time as Flutie steps up, the pressure is coming from Alex Mash and Reggie Rogers. And here you see it. Here's Roger. He's having a whale of a game up the middle, and Mash then comes from the outside, and Flutie maybe has to get rid of this just a little sooner than he wants to. Remember, he's only 5'9" now. He kind of ducks down to avoid the hit, costs him an interception.
Now from the 32, Tolliver stands in, throws to the far side, a little high, but Walker brought it down at the 25-yard line. So they're halfway to a first down as Wayne Walker hangs on. 16 games in 94 for the Pirates.
And he's one of these sneaky fast guys. You know, he kind of can lull you to sleep, and all of a sudden he can just fly by you for the big one. That's what the corners say about him, a sneaky speedster.
And he's from just down the road at Texas Tech. Second down, 3 to go after a 7-yard gain. Tolliver with time, wide open Basinger. He'll have the first down, and he's forced out inside the 20-yard line. Phillips over to make the tackle. Freeman Basinger began with the Sacramento Gold Miners. Played briefly with the BC Lions last year. Had the dropsies a time or two.
Yeah, he did. And BC, of course, decided to let him go, but you know, he seems to be the final piece to this receiving core. He can stretch a defense. He's got terrific speed as well.
Now at the 17, Shreveport first down. Tolliver uses the shotgun. Now out of the pocket, Tolliver. Not a bad runner as he's down inside the 10-yard line. Not quite a first down. See where they spot the ball. Looks like about a yard short. Wally Buono says he's a little like Archer, but a little more mobile.
Yeah, a good lane opens up to the bottom, and Billy Joe Tolliver smart enough to realize that the linebackers have dropped. Hey, I can run. I'm not the greatest runner of all time, but I can go far enough to pick up a first down. Good decision.
2nd and 2, Shreveport threatening inside the Calgary 10. Tolliver looks to the far side in the far corner, and Walker was the intended receiver. He's into a sign back there, and Tolliver paid the price for getting that one away just a little bit late.
Yes, he did. He took a good shot from Stu Laird as he released the football.
Now the fans a little distressed.
Well, they're running picks to both sides of the field. Kind of a sloppy pick, but they end up going to Wayne Walker deep. He just can't catch up to it.
Started to say the fans a little distressed that the Pirates are settling for 3 at this stage of things, but I think at 3 on the board at this particular moment in time is a pretty good plan for Forrest Gregg. He needed a long 2 yards for the first down.
He might get an automatic first down now if the call goes his way, but I think he made the good decision regardless. You know, they can't come away from that drive with nothing.
Discussion. Referee Dave Ewell.
Offside. Calgary 81. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So that's Will Johnson getting the early start, and he doesn't make many errors. 7-year CFL veteran now.
Yeah, that's bad penalty. I mean, obviously, hey, give up the 3. Don't give them a first down, and Calgary doesn't do that to their team much, but in this case, they did.
Tolliver with a play from Joe Barnes on the sidelines. It is first down. Goal to go just inside the 5. Pirates with a chance to get even with the Stampeders who lead at 7-0. Patton down to about the 1.
Patton, the ball carrier. Will Johnson on the tackle for
Not
Calgary.
much of a running game in week 1 for the Pirates.
No, can you believe it? They had 23 yards total as a team against San Antonio, and that just puts too much pressure on a Billy Joe Tolliver to beat a team through the air when they're just trying to get to know each other.
Patton had 4 carries last week for 5 yards total. And the Stampeders didn't have a problem running the ball last week. 2nd and goal to go. Ball at the 1. Pirates with a chance to get on the board. And they're celebrating, but so far the referee hasn't indicated that that is a touchdown. Dave Ewell says 3rd down. It's a little tough on those goal line stands where the players all put their hands up, signaling a touchdown and trying to find the official down there. But Dave Ewell says they're still a yard away. Now.
Finley made the initial contact, and obviously he didn't get in there. Now they brought some heavy beef into the lineup, and well, I think this is a good choice for Forrest Gregg. Try and pound it in and get the big touchdown, tie this game up.
3rd down, goal to go. Pirates at the Stampeder 1. One more chance to hit the end zone and tie it up with 47 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Over the top, and I don't think he made it. He stopped short. Martin Patton tried to go over the top, and the Stampeder defense comes up with a huge save, and right in the middle of things down there, Marvin Pope celebrating. Couple of cracks at it from the 1-yard line. 3 cracks at it from inside the 5, and the Pirates come up short.
Yeah, the key is penetration. Watch Pope come up here. Finley comes over the top, and even Alondra Johnson gets into this, but they get the good initial penetration, and it just fouls up the blocking. There you see, there's Pope with the hit, got rid of the block. Finley helps out, and no way, Patton wasn't even close. This could even give you a better look here. It's tough to pull a guard down on the goal line. That's what Shreveport tried to do. Tried to pull the right guard, John Heidenreich, and he just couldn't clear the way.
So after the interception, no points for the Pirates. Here's Flutie out of the end zone, stopped at about the 4-yard line. Jonathan Wilson in on the tackle there. 3 games with the Pirates in 1994. This is his 2nd season here, 3rd in the CFL.
It's a great call down there. Really fooled Shreveport initially, but give them credit. Good coverage by Joe Fuller downfield. Flutie wanted to throw the home run, and before he knew it, Jonathan Wilson was right in his face, but you have to like the call. And hey, there's Big Daddy, Marvin. He's moved out of the middle now. He's going to play outside linebacker. They'll get a much better pass rush when they bring him as their 5th rusher.
Yeah, it worked pretty well on the running play last time with Pope coming from the outside. Here's Flutie on 2nd down. He has Sapunjas out across the 20-yard line to about the 22. So a big first down for the Stampeders. Flutie to Sapunjas on the final play of the opening quarter in Shreveport. Stampeder defense held the Pirates out of the end zone on 3rd and 1 from the goal, and that's why the score is 7-0. We'll send you back to CFL unless you look back at the touchdown toss, which gives the Stampeders their margin of victory right now, Darren. Stampeders with the football. First down just out across the 20-yard line at the 21 following the Sapunjas catch. Tony Stewart for a couple.
Yeah, you know, you look at the big play of the quarter, and yeah, they got the touchdown catch, but I think a defensive stand on the goal line probably lifts the team even more. And Calgary will be very happy the way they turned away the Shreveport drive. And, you know, when you're playing a team that you should beat, you really want to take them out of the game early, and that goal line stand might have.
Gain of 3. This is 2nd and 7. Stampeders. Flutie. Shotgun. Wide open far side is Alan Pitts, and Pitts is stopped by Perry. That's Mario Perry, number 36 on Alan Pitts. It'll be another Stampeder first down. Here's how it looked in the opening quarter after Alan Pitts' touchdown. Stampeders were rather solid. Here are the numbers now. Passing 44 yards for the Pirates, 32 for the Stampeders. Possession almost even. Flutie on play action, looks to the far side and right into the Stampeder bench after making the toss. Hit by Wilson. Tough to see the receiver on the far side of the field. Is it Pee-wee?
Should be Pee-wee Smith. And the sidelines, John, are extremely close to the wall here at Independence Stadium. Took a shot, and looks like he hit the bench with his ribs. There's Smith to the top of your screen. Jonathan Wilson, who's an extremely physical corner, 6'2", 200 pounds. I think he took it either in the ribs or on the hip as he hit that bench.
Pee-wee held on. It'll be a Stampeder first down. We'll check out the injury situation shortly. In the meantime, first down Stampeders. Flutie sidearmed that one, and that one might have come off the turf. Intended for Pitts. They call it a catch. Alan Pitts gets credit for the reception. There's the career of Alan Pitts in his 6th season now, closing in on 7,500 yards, 59 touchdowns coming into the game, and he has one tonight. First down, Stampeders at the 45 of the Pirates. Another penalty marker down as Flutie looks to the far side. Terry Vaughn, the intended receiver, number 2. And Pee-wee appears to be okay. He's back and on the football field. Penalty against the Pirates. And there's an injured player down there.
Offside. Shreveport 72. 5 yards. First down repeated.
Johnny Scott, they roll in 5 linemen, and Johnny Scott's a good one who played with him last year, giving Reggie Rogers a break on this series.
Maybe we can see what happened here.
Johnny Scott playing over the nose, or playing on the center. Jamie Crysdale gets a jump just as the ball is snapped. He gets caught in the neutral zone.
And Scott is the injured player, so he's making all the headlines on the field right now.
That's funny. Shreveport on this defensive series have really tried to mix things up nicely with a combination of zone on first down. They've been going to a little tighter man-to-man on second down, but Flutie's receivers read it so well that, I mean, anything you do is just so difficult unless you get that extra pressure on Flutie to upset his rhythm.
off under his own power, so a decent bet that he'll be back in the ball game shortly.
Yeah, and they need Johnny Scott because they have to spell off that front four. And Alex Mash, Rogers, Williams, and Savage. They need that fifth guy, Scott, to rotate in there and give them a break. I mean, a night like tonight is a tough night for these big linemen.
And on the penalty, it is a 1st and 5 situation facing the Stampeders. This drive began at the Stampeder 1-yard line. And 6 plays later, they're at the Shreveport 40. 1st and 5. 4 receivers to the near side for Flutie. It is Vaughn coming out of the backfield, making the catch. He's got the first down. Down to about the 33.
Tackle made by Anthony Shelton. Flag on the play.
There was another marker down. Lots of penalties in this one. This one against the Stampeders.
Offside. Calgary number 18. 5 yards. First down repeated.
So Alan Pitts got a bit of a head start. With that kind of speed, you don't need a
No,
head
you
start,
don't.
do you?
I don't think so. There's a good look at John Huffnagel just sneaking around. He lost it behind Wally Buono, and he will call a lot of the plays tonight for Doug Flutie. Funny offensive coordinator for Calgary, and Joe Barnes, offensive coordinator for Shreveport. Quarterbacking duo back in Regina in the early 80s.
That one was tipped at the line. Stewart looked to be the intended receiver. John Huffnagel and Pirates offensive coordinator Joe Barnes were known at a time in Saskatchewan as J.J. Barnagel when they had a terrific quarterbacking tandem under Joe Farragelli, and the year was 1981. Talking to both quarterbacks about it today. Fond memories of that season for both. The Rough Riders were 9-7, but didn't quite make the playoffs that year. Eskimos and Stampeders and Lions were just too tough. Flutie from the shotgun, 2nd and 10. That one is tipped and then almost grabbed by Dave Sapunjas. Knocked away, and then it almost came down into Sapunjas' hands. Joe Fuller got a hand on it.
Nice job by Ron Perry to stay with Pitts as he came across the middle. Flutie with good protection. They run a twist up front, but Calgary picks it up nicely. And there you see Ron Perry, 34, get the left hand up, almost had a chance to make the interception, and actually Sapunjas almost had a chance to make the catch. But when you're a linebacker and you can run with Sapunjas all the way across the field, you've done a nice job.
Here's Mark McLaughlin. What a season he's having so far. He's only perfect.
Yeah, and you know, last year, 37 of 44 in field goals. I mean, he has really got his game at a high level.
Yeah, he was clicking at 84% last year, clicking at 100% until this one, and he still is 6 for 6 on the season as McLaughlin connects from the 52-yard line. Stampeders
21 remaining.
on top of the Pirates.
It's
10-0.
Calgary 10.
Shreveport. Stampeders not unexpected as we watched these two teams match up and looked at the talent and the records from the previous season. Stampeders were 15-3. The Pirates were 3-15 in 1994. Billy Joe Tolliver, starting quarterback tonight, good on 5 of 7 for 44 yards. Had a chance. First down inside the Stampeder 5, and the Pirates came up empty. Now they begin 1st and 10 at the 35 after McLaughlin's field goal. Tolliver can't get away from the rush. Zizakovic is through. That's Shreko Zizakovic. Number 96.
Shreko Zizakovic on the tackle.
And just put a big bear hug on the quarterback.
Yeah, the Zizakovic brothers are in at the 2 tackles. Here comes Shreko this way. Lubo on the twist, but it's Shreko right up the gut that ends up getting the pressure and the sack, and they too will spell off, and Kenny Walker gets the rest on this series, but Lubo Zizakovic did not play a week ago. He is now in, and the 2 brothers controlling the middle.
2nd and 17. Tolliver, deep drop. Got away from the initial rush. Found the release man. That's Junior Smith trying to get outside for the first down, and he accomplishes that. Big first down for the Pirates, and look, Leaf, no penalty markers anywhere on the field.
Hey, how about that? Junior Smith, only 5'6", 175 pounds, and Joe Barnes told me, he said, he is like a pinball Clemens. We just need to get him the ball more. Well, they do on a 2nd and long situation. Pretty good job by Tolliver to find him. And then watch this nice little move right there to get away from Alondra Johnson, and he gets a much-needed first down for the Pirates.
Yeah, and Gerald Vaughn overran the tackle as well, so the Pirates have a first down out at the 51-yard line. Trailing 14-0 to the Stampeders. Tolliver looks to the near side. 3 receivers out here. This is Freeman Basinger. And Basinger gets close to a first down. Stopped from behind by Johnson.
Yeah, and I think that's a defense that Calgary's going to get out of in a hurry. Trips to the field. They covered the 3rd receiver in, Basinger, with Alondra Johnson. Now, Johnson is fast, but I'll tell you, on a hot night like this tonight, it's not only going to take its toll, but I don't think Johnson can stay with Freeman Basinger. He's a great linebacker, but that's a tough assignment.
It'll be 2nd down and inches to go for the Pirates, who've all of a sudden put together a decent drive beginning back at the 35-yard line.
Bob Vespasiani there on the left with the backwards hat in charge of the defensive line. Frank Spaziani with the linebackers with the towel around him. Of course, Wally Buono, even as the head coach, has a huge hand in the defenses that they play.
Wayne Walker to the near side. It is 2nd down. Inches to go. Tolliver will take advantage of a free play. Stands in and looks deep. Looking for Walker. Did he hit? Touchdown. Walker held on under the coverage from Alfred Jordan, number 27. Pirates are on the board. 2nd and inches, and Tolliver went for the bomb.
Well, John, you like the call because you have to play games with the defense. The defense is probably thinking, hey, they just want to pick up a first down to keep the drive going. But Wayne Walker, who I mentioned is deceptively fast, leaves Jordan in the dust. And that ball, had it been better thrown, would have made it look a lot easier than it was.
Boy, he makes a heck of a catch on it, too, because the coverage by Jordan, although a little bit late, was pretty tight on Walker there. And he had to do a great job to hang on to the ball. Pirates now have 7. 8:57 to go till halftime. It's a 3-point ball game. And celebrating on the sidelines is Wayne Walker after this catch. He held on in the end zone. Wayne Walker has his first touchdown of 1995, and the Pirates are right back in the ball game. Ready now for the Shreveport kickoff. Edwards on the return. Tyrone Edwards across the 25. Looking for room, far side of the field. There's a marker down. And so is Edwards near the 37-yard line.
Tyrone Edwards on the return. Freeman Basinger on the tackle. There's a flag on the play.
Let's check for the initial indication. Down on the field is Marvin Pope, looking for a contact lens, perhaps. Or was he winded? Penalty is against the Stampeders on the return for holding.
Holding. Calgary number 37 on the return. 10 yards. First down.
And they got Matt Finley on the return there. 3 plays to cover 75 yards and a gutsy call by Tolliver to hit Walker for a 49-yard touchdown toss. That was on 2nd and inches.
Well, it was a terrific catch by Walker, getting in behind Al Jordan. There you see the good concentration, because Jordan's arms are going to come up at the last second to try and distract him. He knows he's in trouble. He's trying to get a hand up desperately, but
he had to wait for it a bit there, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Wayne Walker with terrific catches. And, you know, Shreveport, I mean, they have to make some big plays to stay in this game. They are definitely the underdogs, and that is a big play at a crucial time.
One of the strategies the Pirates were talking about was to stay with the Stampeders. They had to score with the Stampeders, because they're not going to shut down Doug Flutie all evening long. They're going to have to get some points on the board. And it looked for a while like it was going to be a little more difficult, but now they have the 7. And they did have that drive that ended in failure, but at least Tolliver was able to move the football.
Well, I think they have to have come off to the sidelines after that scoring drive saying, hey, look, we've taken it down, as you mentioned, to the goal line. Sure, we gave it up, but now we've scored. So, listen, we can stay with this club offensively, and they must be feeling pretty good about themselves right now.
Can't afford to get too far behind Flutie and the Stampeders. Pope heads to the sidelines, and Flutie is on the field. 1st and 10. Calgary beginning at the 21. This is Tony Stewart. He's got a couple. Let's send you back to CFL control.
Thanks very much, John. Let's go back to Steeltown. the Ticats. Off to a torrid pace. Anthony Cavilla will go into the end zone. He'll hit Winfield. That'll make it 21-10. That's the score at the half.
And back live in Shreveport now. Second down. Stampeders 2nd and 7. Stamps at the 25. Flutie far side. Missed his target. Wilson was covering on Terry Vaughn, number 2, and Flutie missed that time.
Well, this is an area where I think Doug Flutie is going to work against a lot. Jonathan Wilson is the corner outside, and Terry Vaughn's going to go on the out. But Jonathan Wilson's a huge corner at 6'2", 200 pounds, and I think most people believe he's better suited to play at the halfback spot or maybe even middle safety. He was beaten quite easily there by Vaughn, but I wouldn't be surprised if Doug Flutie goes to that area quite a bit tonight.
Wally Buono, for one, thought that Wilson was much better suited to the safety position, where he played a little bit with Toronto a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and he was a good one, too. Very aggressive, but I think he's a little out of place out of the corner.
Harris on the return. He lost the ball. Who comes up with it? 50-yard kick that time for Martino. And the Pirates get it right back. Here's Billy Joe. Billy Joe Tolliver. 8 of 10. He's hitting on 80% for 126 yards. The long touchdown really helped.
Helped the numbers in a hurry. Now he holds pretty near all the passing records at Texas Tech, and of course his offensive coordinator Joe Barnes also preceded him at Texas Tech. So I said to Joe tonight, I guess Billy Joe broke all your records. He said, oh gosh, he said all I did was hand off left, hand off right. He didn't break any of my records.
Well, those two guys are getting together very well. They talk Texas Tech.
Yes, they talk the same language, so they're always on the same page.
From the 35, Tolliver hands off to Smith. Smith tries to break to the outside. He's to midfield. Finally surrounded and forced out. Solid run by Junior Smith. Not listed as the primary runner in this backfield.
Yeah, terrific hole up front. Watch Chuck Reed. He just turns Zizakovic to the outside. They get the good block from Mike Stowell at center, and a huge hole opens up. And this is a nice change of pace to draw. They've been throwing, and now you throw this into the mix and really caught Calgary off balance. See how hard those defensive linemen were coming upfield. That's when they're easy to run the draw against.
24 yards the gain. Setting Shreveport up at the Stampeder 51. Tolliver away from the initial rush. Can't find a receiver now. Has it picked up? Almost picked up. Johnson had his mitts on it. Walker was the intended receiver. And Alondra Johnson looked like he'd had his first interception of the season.
And John, that's one of those killer throws back across the field. And yes, you see your receiver wide open, and yes, he is wide open, but
then,
when you throw back across the field, it's just so tough. There's Johnson right in the middle of your screen, 51, and you'll see Basinger. He's going to stop right there and slowly try and get to the open. He's waving. They can't get it to him.
This will be 2nd and 10. Shotgun. Tolliver looked for Walker one more time, and Coleman was there. You think the fans want a flag on that one?
Yeah, I would say they're a little upset with that one. Looks like Billy Joe Tolliver, though, has really settled down here in the second quarter, has a better grasp of things. Yeah, it was almost picked off by Johnson, but this one wasn't terribly thrown. Going again, the home run for Walker. You be the judge at home. Coleman sliding out, creates the contact. I don't think there's any question about that. Should have been interference. Yeah, you have a right to the ball, but that was contact clearly created, and the fans definitely were good referees on that one.
Robbie Keane nailed his last punt, almost 60 yards, standing this time at the 45. Another high kick. This is Coleman waiting at the 5. Loose ball, and it came back to Coleman. Fumble was created, but the Stampeders got it back. Calgary by 3, second quarter. And back here at Shreveport, 5:52 to go till halftime.
You know, John, Darren mentioned that Calgary will be in Ottawa next week. You and I will do that next Thursday night. In fact, Calgary will travel to Ottawa after this game rather than go home and spend a few days in the nation's capital getting ready for that game.
Asked Wally if he was taking the team on vacation. He said, no. first down for Flutie and the Stampeders. Far side, Flutie has his target. Sapunjas forced out of bounds by a couple of Pirates. 10-7 Calgary in the lead. Seven o'clock Eastern time, 4 Pacific for the Stampeders and the Rough Riders. Sapunjas has 9. This is 2nd and 1, and the Stampeders should have the first down. No penalty markers anywhere. Stewart's. And it was Reggie Rogers in on the tackle. Stampeders in the lead by 3. And Flutie having a slightly off night. He is not quite at the top of his game so far, but there's a long way to go for Doug Flutie.
There's a long way to go for Doug Flutie.
1st and 10, Stampeders at the 22. And Flutie is 2 for 2 in his last 2 passes, both to Dave Sapunjas, who's forced out. Well, he was below 50% passing until he hit Sapunjas for those last 2.
And Dave Sapunjas, when he lines up as the 3rd receiver in, or in this case 4th receiver in, he just works to the outside, let everybody clear out, and very difficult to stop that pass pattern. Sapunjas broke his collarbone last season, missed the last 6 games of the year, and came back for the playoffs, of course, and broke it again. So it's been on the mend all winter.
The injured player is Ray Savage, who starts at the left defensive end for the Shreveport Pirates.
There's Savage up to the left of your screen, and see if you can get a handle on exactly what happened to them at the end of this play, working on the All-Canadian Rocco Romano. The ball is released, and when he is up in the air vulnerable, Rocco Romano gives him that extra shot to knock him back on his back.
Almost looked like he landed on his right shoulder, and that would, from that height, would hurt when you're coming down. Flutie to 50% passing as it stands right now. 7 of 14 for 93 yards. He was just below 50% until he hit Sapunjas for 2 in a row.
Well, Memphis felt like they frustrated him last week, playing a lot of zone coverage, making Flutie throw underneath it. And tonight his numbers aren't what they might be.
Flutie going deep with time, and markers come down on the coverage that time. Reggie Carthon flagged. And little doubt about the contact there.
Well, once again, penalties hurting Shreveport tonight. The contact created downfield. Cawthorn had the big blocking from the rear penalty that cost him the big Basinger return on the punt, and now as a nickelback inserted into the game, creates the contact and interference.
Deliberate forward pass interference. Shreveport 29, first down.
So look where the Stampeders are as a result. Inside the 40.
Yeah, here they are right here. And you see that when the ball is still coming in the air, the contact has been created. No intent by Carthon to turn around and play the ball, so that is an excellent call.
Sapunjas the intended receiver, and although he didn't catch the ball, he chips in 39 yards for the Stampeders.
Hey, you know, John, when I was a receiver, and you know, you love to catch your share of passes, but if you draw the big interference penalty,
well,
I mean,
you count that in your personal
stats,
don't you?
No, you can't. But I'll tell you what, you go back to the huddle feeling like you've done the job, though, because you keep the drive going, and that's just as good as catching it.
There's a problem with the game clock right now, so they're trying to reset that. No, but when you go home at night, you say, well, I caught 3, and it was 48 yards, and then the 39-yard interference. I managed to get out of debut.
Well, but the only thing is you feel good about it because, you know, you help the offense somehow, even though it won't show up statistically.
1st and 10. Stampeders at the 38. Near side, flank wide is Terry Vaughn. Has 3 receivers to the near side. Another marker down as Flutie escapes, fires as Alan Pitts. He's dragged down immediately, and we'll check out the infraction. Fuller made the stop. It's close to a first down, pending the penalty.
Offside, Calgary number 2. 5 yards, first down repeated.
That's Terry Vaughn getting a quick start from his wide receiver spot. He was on the right side that time. So the Stampeders are catching up to the Pirates a little bit in the penalty department.
Yeah, it's been a pretty sloppy first half when you look at it. Those are the penalty statistics, and that's certainly too much from both teams.
First and 15, Flutie shotgun. Into tight cover, and he has his man. Pee Wee Smith made the catch in front of Jonathan Wilson.
Well, Pee Wee Smith getting a chance to play, and watch, he's working on Jonathan Wilson, just runs the hook, and well, I tell you what, that is an area I think they have to attack. And Jonathan Wilson, you see Pee Wee Smith getting lots of room there, just settles down, works into the hole, and Jonathan Wilson really not even close. I think they can make a living on every play out there right now until he decides that he'll come up and challenge those Calgary receivers.
Flutie got a bunch back. This is now 2nd and 5. Danielson, and he should have the first down. Vince Danielson.
Well, you got to like Vince Danielson. You know, he was at the University of British Columbia. He was a quarterback, and he said to himself, if I want to make it to pro football, which is my objective, I'm not going to make it as a quarterback. So after 4 great years at that position, his final year he moved to slot back, where he had an outstanding 5th year at UBC. He was drafted by the Stampeders, and in his first year last year, he 21 catches. He works well in the 5-pack, and a nice addition he's been.
Timeout for another injury in Shreveport, where the Stampeders lead at 10-7. And how about those Hamilton Tiger Cats? They won week 1. They're in control tonight. We'll check it out at halftime with Darren. Right now, 2:43 to go till halftime. Stampeders 1st and 10. Here's Flutie, end zone toss. Well, not quite to the end zone, but he's got his man, Pee Wee Smith, down at the 2. Pee Wee's late dive will not count for a touchdown there.
Well, here's the deal. Doug Flutie says, I've realized the soft spot right now. Once again, Pee Wee Smith running down on the post, and you'll just see Jonathan Wilson does not want to come up and challenge him. He's giving him a good 9 yards, and that's too much for a corner. And then you see when the ball's in the air, he doesn't have the burst to break on it and try and break it up. And same old story. They can make a living out there.
First down, goal to go. Stampeders at about the 2.5. Here's Flutie himself, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. Doug Flutie, congratulated by David Sapungis as Flutie takes it in from a couple of yards away. So he's tossed for 1 and carried for 1, and the Stampeders lead at 16-7.
Yeah, this is a great play for Flutie to run the option. There you see Shelton overruns it. Rogers can't get out in time, and you know, when Flutie decides you'll run the option, you stretch that defense out so much they rarely can make the right play. Boy, I guess about the only thing Flutie hasn't accomplished in his career would be to rush for 1,000 yards himself, which I'm sure he'd love to do. I just think his passing is so good he never gets a chance.
Well, he can run with the football, and he moves the football in all kinds of ways. Convert good, as you saw, 17-7. As Flutie restores a 10-point lead for the Calgary Stampeders. One more peek at it.
You watch Ron Perry at the top 34. He has to respect Stewart, so he's out of the play automatically. And when Shelton overruns it, it's game over. Good call on goal line with Flutie's athletic ability to take advantage of a little seam. And if, you know, there's nothing right the defense can really do there unless they happen to get a solid shot on him.
Again, a long interference call, netting 39 yards, kept this drive going for the Stampeders, or at least made it a lot simpler for Flutie to get to the end zone. It was a free 40 yards, really.
Yes, it was, and Doug Flutie and John Huffnagel learned something on that drive, and you know, I've talked about it quite a bit, is that Jonathan Wilson is not going to challenge their receivers. So Flutie now has filed that away that, hey, if we need first downs, I know the area I can go to. Now, obviously, he's going to spread it around to keep everybody involved, but don't think he hasn't filed it in crucial situations. I'll be going back against Shreveport's right corner.
Billy Joe Tolliver getting set to go back in right after the Stampeder kickoff. Too deep for the Pirates back near the 20-yard line. Basinger and Walker. And this is Freeman Basinger. Across the 30 and slipped through there. He's to the 40-yard line. Basinger, solid return out to midfield. Just what the Pirates needed with 2:06 to go till halftime.
And John, that's the reason why they signed Freeman Basinger. Yes, he can play the slot or wide receiver for you, but he gives you the dimension that they were really looking for. A solid kick returner, and you know, he had the good punt return and now a great kickoff return.
Here's the scoring drive for the Stampeders that Tolliver will try and answer. 7 plays to cover 99 yards in a time of 3:36, and Flutie finished it off with a 2-yard rush. Now Pirates 1st and 10, beginning right at midfield, just shy of the 55. Tolliver getting some heat, stands up, fires, open, 1st down as Walker made the catch. Hang on, it's not Walker, it's Will Covington, number 83. Into the hurry-up offense for the Pirates with an even 2 minutes on the clock here at Independence Stadium. Stampeders on top by 10. Tolliver sends 3 receivers to the far side of the field. And he comes back this way. Covington again, number 83. Don't think he's related to Grover.
No.
He's from the smaller side of the Covington clan, if that is in fact the case.
Well, with 1:44 to go, as you can see, 17-7. If Billy Joe Tolliver can take his team in for a field goal or a touchdown, you know, they'll go into the locker room saying, hey, we're only down by 3 or 7 or whatever the case may be against this club. We can stay with these guys.
Right now he's facing 2nd and 2. Junior Smith stopped initially and then nailed right there back at the 35-yard line. That play worked once, but it didn't fool the Stampeders the second time. A little draw there as Zizakovic was on top of it for one. Lubo Zizakovic.
Yeah, Stu Laird really makes the play. You know, he's going to follow the pulling guards down, and when the running back Smith stops, who's there waiting really to make the initial play? And it's Stu Laird. Smith just doesn't have the quickness now to get away from everybody else. But boy, when you see that tackle and guard pull down the line as a defensive end, you just follow them, and something good may happen, and that's what happened for Stu Laird.
That sets up a field goal try for Bjorn Nitmo. He's hitting 1,000% this season, 1 for 1 last week. This spotted at the 42-yard line. And this one is on the mark, so Nitmo is having a pretty good season, too.
Yeah, he nailed that one. I mean, he could have made that from 55, and he's pleased with that, and so should the Pirates offense. They made a couple of first downs and got 3 points back, and
cut the lead to a touchdown.
Yeah, you know, for as well as Calgary's played here in the first half and for as many mistakes as Forrest Gregg's Pirates have made, hey, they are in the thick of things, and don't think they won't feel pretty good about this at halftime. Now, on the other side, there still is 1:24.
That's exactly what I was going to point out, and that's too much time to get comfortable with Flutie at the controls on the other side.
I don't think there's anybody better at the 2-minute offense than Doug Flutie. There have been obviously some great quarterbacks that have engineered that type of offense over the years, but he would be at the top of the list.
And he'll begin at the 35-yard line with 1:24 to go till halftime.
You know, if Lancaster's watching tonight, Ronnie Lancaster, I'll tell you, in my opinion, the guys I play with, there was nobody better than him.
Absolutely. Flutie has that one batted down and then batted it away himself. I think he thought for a second that he might just grab that one back and maybe try and do something with it, but he deflected it into the ground on second thought.
Well, what you want to do when you set up the screen is invite those defensive linemen upfield, as Calgary's offensive line does. There you see Ben Williams and again Reggie Rogers, but one thing they didn't take into account is the height of all these guys. Johnny Scott got the knockdown, and that's a nice defensive play by Scott.
2nd and 10 with 1:18 to go. Stamps at the 35. Calgary leading by a touchdown. Flutie over the middle, and he's on target for a first down. Sean Danielson, big target at 6'3". Vince Danielson. It is Sean Daniels. Vince Danielson.
You got it.
Hurry-up offense being employed by Flutie here with 1:09 to go. Certainly the Stampeders can add to their lead in that amount of time. Flutie as Sapunjas, he's inside the 35 and finally forced out at the 20-yard line. Look at the time left. 56 seconds. Flutie has all kinds of time to hit the end zone and answer that field goal.
And Reggie Carthon, number 29, the defensive back for Shreveport's had a tough night. Interference call, and now giving Sapungis so much room to the outside. My goodness, I still could have been able to get open on that kind of coverage, but he's had the penalty, he's had the interference, the hit from behind, and now he lets Sapungis get wide open. Tough night for number 29, Carthon.
Yeah, and it's a 42-yard gain. You have
to wonder what he's thinking, though, when he takes away the inside that much and gives Sapungis like 50 yards of field to work to the sideline.
Flutie from the 19 on first down. It opens up for Doug Flutie. He's slowed and tripped up, but he is out near the 10-yard line. And about the 8-yard line by the time he's finally stopped.
Flutie on the keeper.
Numbers on Flutie. He was slow starting, or at least the numbers were not impressive to begin the second quarter, but he's right there now. 10 of 18 for 134. He's run for one and passed for one.
Yeah, and he's had pretty good protection, too. That always becomes the key for him. You know, you give him lots of time to throw, and sooner or later, he's going to cause a lot of damage.
First and goal to go. Stampeders are at the 8-yard line. 32 seconds to go. And Stewart is at the 6-yard line. It may be slightly across that. Savage was there. And Scott, who was nicked earlier, has played a solid game for the Pirates. He has been involved. Time ticking down till halftime with the Stampeders on top by 7. Pretty good chance they'll add to that lead here. Second down. Goal to go from the 6-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to take a timeout, let the clock run down, and then they will go to the sidelines and discuss things. What they want to do, obviously, is to score and then have no time left on the clock for Shreveport.
Now, last week, the Stampeders stalled a couple of times inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, they had a tough time against that Memphis defense, and that's why Mark McLaughlin was 5 for 5 a week ago. Inside the 30-yard line, they didn't have a lot of production. But, you know, the good news, you know, if it's another offense, another team's offense, you maybe worry about that. But the good news is that they were getting down in that position, and you know with their track record that it's only a matter of time before they start to click in the red zone.
Yeah, they're back on track tonight because they have been inside the 35-yard line on a couple of occasions, and they have touchdowns on both occasions. 11 seconds till halftime. Stampeders second, and goal to go at the 6-yard line of the Pirates. Calgary in the lead by a touchdown. Pee-wee Smith to the near side. 3 receivers flanked to the far side of the field. Flutie operating from the shotgun. Over the middle, and Alan Pitts has the touchdown. Second of the ball game for Alan Pitts. That time in front of Harold Nash, 0-0. Pretty calm approach to scoring the touchdown for Flutie and Pitts. They've got 2 together tonight.
Well, he does it so many times. He got the inside position on Harold Nash, and Nash makes a good effort to try and strip the ball loose, but the strong arms of Alan Pitts enables him to tuck that ball in, bring it into his body, and his second of the night. 1 away now from Tom Ferzani's all-time club record of 62.
Number 61 for Alan Pitts, wearing the red and white of the Calgary Stampeders. 8 seconds on the clock as McLaughlin calmly puts it through. And the Stampeders have a 2-touchdown advantage, and the Pirates one more time. It's 24-10.
Well, here you get a good look at Alan Pitts and Harold Nash. You know, here's Nash. Now, Pitts, he's just going to square him up and bring it to the inside. Now, Nash has pretty good position on this pass pattern. It's just that last yard, you know, that burst to try and get the left hand in there. Now, you know, that's not bad coverage, but give Pitts credit. He was able to just get those hands way out there and, you know, not let the ball work its way into his body. If he does that, probably Nash makes the play, but the key to take it in his hands, make the catch, and he has his second of the night.
Just a split second behind Alan Pitts, but that's dangerous.
Well, hey, I mean, you know, any defensive back in the league is going to have a tough time taking Pitts on down on the goal line, but to Nash's credit, he played it pretty well, but he still lost the battle. Didn't do it perfectly, though. There's 8 seconds left on the clock.
That gives the Pirates a chance for the return, and that's about it. They've had a couple of decent returns tonight. Basinger had one right out around midfield. But the Stampeders are going to let them get a few yards, but not much. They'll be laying in wait.
I think McLaughlin may keep this on the ground, too.
quite on the ground, but it was a line drive to Basinger. And markers are down absolutely everywhere. Jonathan Wilson caught for blocking from behind with 2 seconds on the clock. 7 plays to cover 75 yards, and Pitts from Flutie on a 6-yard touchdown. 2 for Pitts on the night, 2 touchdown tosses for Flutie. And this will be the last play of the opening half at Independence Stadium in Shreveport.
Illegal block, Shreveport number 9. 10 yards, first
It's
down.
been the little things tonight for Shreveport. You know, penalties have really hurt. Watch Jonathan Wilson right here. Hey, there's the head. It's behind the Calgary kick coverer, and unless it's in front, and you're going to get called when you're out in the open field like that. And every once in a while you can get away with it if you're in the middle of the pack, but when you're in the open field, 99 times out of 100 you get called, and they're the little things that just keep you from being successful.
2 seconds away from the McDonald's halftime reports. At TSN control, Tolliver has Walker, and Walker will just about finish off the first half, stepping out of bounds there. No penalty markers anywhere, and Doug Flutie leads the Calgary Stampeders to the dressing room with a 14-point lead. It is 24-10. Flutie with a couple of touchdown tosses to Alan Pitts, and a couple of times he made it look easy. Back now to Darren Detition.
Welcome back to McDonald's halftime. Last year, he was all-world. Alan Pitts set a new record for touchdowns scored with 21, along with a new record for receptions in one season with 126. This season did not start off that well. Arrested in the U.S. with steroids while coming to Calgary's training camp, Pitts is still awaiting the legal ramifications, but he's putting that behind him. And earlier this week, our own Lisa Bowes had a chance to talk with him.
Alan, in 1993, the Stampeders had an incredible record, 15-3, and yet lost in the Western Final to Edmonton. 1994, similar script, 15-3 during the regular season. Numerous team and league records, but again, losing right here in McMahon to BC in the Western Final. It's something to come back from that once, but twice? How is the team's psyche and / chemistry, I guess, for 1995?
You know, there's been a few changes in the off-season, which at this point, you know, I really haven't been able to get a full handle on, you know, our approach as a team. You know, I believe those losses the last 2 years makes us a hungry team, wanting to get back to the Grey Cup, but with the change that we've had and the way we started out the last 2 seasons and how far along we are this season, you know, I think we might be a little bit behind. But I think coming off those 2 losses the last 2 years, I think it does make us a much more hungrier team.
What makes Alan Pitts hungrier this year? 3 league records you set last year. It was phenomenal how you came back from that knee injury. What's the motivation this time around?
Well, I think the motivation, most of the motivation comes from the unfortunate situation that happened earlier during training camp. I think that has just added strength and to myself, making me want to go out and you know, just be the player that I'm capable of being, because, you know, I really feel that there's some people out there that want Alan Pitts to fail. And you know, I'm just here to say that, you know, people can portray or speculate about me whichever way they want, but, you know, my real friends and people that are close to me know what I'm about, and you know, that's what I'm here to let the truth be known about that.
You have signed a new deal. It's not the astronomical figures that we were hearing, 500 G's a season. You wish, I think. Yeah. But you did get a raise. Are you happy? Because I think for a time there, you really, you know, you wanted to be thought of as in the upper echelon, and you are, but you wanted to be paid in the upper echelon, if you will. Are you happy with what you've got?
Yeah, I'm pleased with the progress that was made during the off season. You know, I've enjoyed playing here in Calgary, enjoyed playing for the CFL. You know, in a way, I just feel that, you know, me taking, you know, a small step forward in financially is going to make things possible for other players, you know, coming along these next few years. And, you know, I hope to play a few more years myself and continue to get better and hope I can take some more small steps. But I just think overall, you know, that makes it a little bit better for everybody.
There's still more to come at McDonald's halftime. Up next, John and Leaf give us their first half thoughts, and we check in on our game story. Stay tuned.
Favors Calgary at 17-31. Net yards 231 to 184. And Doug Flutie has engineered a couple of touchdown drives that have ended in touchdown tosses to Alan Pitts.
Yeah, and I think you look at the penalty story there, 8 for 111 for Shreveport. Just think how much offense you lose when you give up 111 yards through penalties. And for Billy Joe Tolliver, that's a tough one.
Ready for the kickoff to get the second half underway. Pee Wee Smith is deep for the Calgary Stampeders. And the short kick is grabbed by Calgary. Finley comes up with the ball. There's a penalty marker down as Matt Finley made the recovery. And the indication initially is against the Shreveport Pirates. So you talk about penalties, and all of a sudden, first play, second half, the Pirates take one.
Offside. Shreveport 99. Penalties decline.
Yeah.
First down.
The penalty won't matter, though, because they come out with a little firepower here. Try the onside kick, and Matt Finley heads up with the recovery. And, oh, boy, you know, you're down by 14, and this is not the kind of way you want to start the third quarter.
You don't want to set the Stampeders up at your 52-yard line to begin the third quarter. 24-10, Stampeders leading the Pirates. Tony Stewart going behind Chronopoulos there for a couple of yards.
Bobby Panelitis, it's his first year starting at the right guard spot. They've made a few changes on the offensive line, but here on the counter, you'll see Stewart come and follow him up through the hole. Pretty good lead block by Panelitis coming up through there. And see on the outside, Beaton has a little trouble handling Alex Mash. Mash gets the first hand on Stewart. I'll tell you, for Bruce Beaton, who's filling in for Bruce Covington, there's a lot of pressure on him at the left tackle spot now. He's getting a chance to play, but, you know, based on his performance tonight, Ken Moore, who retired, I know is waiting in the wings in Calgary. And in Wally Buono, I know I had a chat before the season. Moore didn't feel like physically he could play a full year, but if they were ever in trouble, he would gladly come out of retirement, as I understand this. So
maybe a nice little 15-game schedule,
yeah,
something like that.
So I think based on what the offensive line and most importantly Bruce Beaton does tonight, Kenny Moore may be getting a call.
Tony Stewart is the injured Calgary Stampeder after picking up about 3 yards in the previous play. His backup at running back is number 23, Tyrone Edwards. Now, Edwards is well rated. He got some solid headlines and a big buildup in Calgary. He also had a great camp, and Tony Stewart was less than impressed with the kind of attention that Edwards was getting.
Oh.
So we'll see if this turns into a bit of a competition. Stewart won't want to be out of the ball game for very long if that's the case.
I don't think he will be.
2nd and 6. Stampeders at the Pirates 48. Flutie shotgun. Faked it once, couldn't find a receiver open. Now Flutie scrambling to the other side, and he comes up with a completion. In front of Wilson again. Flutie paid the price. He was down. The receiver on the far side is also slow getting to his feet. That's Pee Wee Smith. And Smith was injured a little bit earlier.
Yeah, he took a shot in the bench earlier and now on the tackle. And Flutie, who had the foot injury a year ago, comes up limping. And boy, oh boy, though, is this not vintage Doug Flutie when he scrambles around like that, avoiding about 3-4 guys to make a play? And you see Mash bearing down on him on the end. And Flutie's left foot looked like he just turned underneath him as he delivered that football.
Here's the heat. Actually, I thought Flutie was hit releasing the ball, but he went down under some pressure there. Pressure from Alex Mash. Great name for a ball player.
Yeah, it is.
The guy on the defensive line, Alex Mash.
Jonathan Wilson gets some sort of revenge as he hits Pee Wee Smith after he caught the football. drove him into the turf. I mean, that is the strength of a Jonathan Wilson, is the way he can play the game physically.
Pee Wee Smith getting a chance to be a starting receiver with the Stampeders in 1995 with Will Moore and Brian Wiggins away trying their fortunes and future in the National Football League.
I'm going to give you a pretty easy test. Pee Wee's real name.
Demetrius. I do remember that.
Oh, I love that.
I think that my name is Demetrius. I just assumed to call Pee Wee.
Yeah, well, of course, you know, whenever I see him down the field, too, like, I mean, I've never called him Pee Wee. I always call him Demetrius.
He likely doesn't answer very
well. Oh, he looks at me, he just laughs.
Stampeders with a first down. And this is Edwards breaking through his first carry of the regular season. Edwards is down to the 2-yard line. Just what we were talking about. This guy was impressive in training camp.
Yeah, he's a raw rookie out of college now, University of California at Berkeley. Now, he's 6'1", 212, and Wally Buono did say to us last night, this guy has tremendous potential and follows the initial blocking on the tackle trap by Beaton and then cuts back across the grain. That is a pretty impressive run for your first run of the year.
37 yards for Edwards to set the Stampeders up. California State University at Berkeley. First year in the CFL. That was his first big run. There's his second try. And does he get the first touchdown on his second carry? It'll be a second down. Not quite.
Pretty good shot over the top from 23, Anthony Shelton. There you see him meeting Edwards in the air, and
it's a good call. He came down on the one.
Keeps him short.
24-10, Stampeders have the lead, threatening to add to it here. 2nd and goal to go from the 1-yard line. Does Flutie give it to Edwards again? Yes, and there's the touchdown. 3 carries, and he's into the end zone. So, Tony Stewart on the sidelines, Tyrone Edwards into the ball game, and Flutie gave him the ball 3 times in a row. He has his first touchdown.
Well, you got to like the way Doug Flutie plays this game. Edwards got them there with the great run, and Flutie was determined that this young rookie was going to get his first touchdown on this drive, and you have to like that. Flutie could have taken the quarterback sneak and had one himself, but he said, hey, the rookie deserves to get his touchdown. He did all the work. Tyrone Edwards got it.
One more weapon for the Calgary Stampeders to work with. Flutie set to hold for McLaughlin with Calgary on top by 10 points now, or by 20 points now.
Yeah, they took advantage of the onside kick that Shreveport began the second half with. It failed. Matt Finley recovered, and then Tyrone Edwards finishes it off with his first professional touchdown. Good looking drive. I tell you what, it will get Tony Stewart healthy in a hurry. There you see the middle plugged up and the quick feet for Edwards to get it to the outside. And, you know, as a running back, you always want to have good vision. And here's what Tyrone Edwards sees when he takes the handoff. He's coming in here, but he says, hey, it's all plugged up, but he has the speed to get to the outside. But, you know, again, we talked the other night about give it to the back deep so he can make those reads. And Edwards made a perfect read and got his touchdown.
He almost got the touchdown on his very first carry. Solid run all the way down to the 2-yard line, and from there the Stampeders took 2 cracks to get into the end zone.
You know, if any young running backs are watching tonight, I mean, that is a real good thing to see in a back like Tyrone Edwards, to keep those eyes open. You know, I know often young guys, they know they're going to get it on the one. They put the head down, the eyes closed, and try and pound through everybody. But you see the technique of your eyes open, picking the right spot, as Edwards did right there.
3 carries, 39 yards. Edwards in on a 1-yard rush. The drive, 6 plays to cover 52 yards, and the Stampeders have a 21-point lead.
You saw Tony Stewart sitting beside him on the bench. Stewart looked a little healthier.
He's looking happier, healthier, not happier. Here's Wayne Walker. Walker, a little room to the far side, but it's closed up quickly by the Stampeders as Frears is there to force him out with Greg Knox, the All-Canadian, helping out. Let's send you back to Darren and catch up on what's happening.
Thanks very much, gentlemen. Anthony Cavillo's out. He's injured. Kerrigan's in. He hands the ball off to Kaylin Hall. That will make it 31-13 for the Ticats. They're running away in the 4th quarter of play.
How about those Tiger Cats?
I'll tell you, John, they got really healthy at the expense of the Las Vegas posse to get Anthony Cavillo at quarterback, and Kalen Hall, who was hurt a lot of last year. He is a terrific running back, so I guess made out pretty well there.
This is Junior Smith, and it's tough running inside against the Stampeders for number 1 for the Shreveport Pirates on first down.
The Shreveport Pirates are proud to have Shreveport Dodge as the official new
Numbers on the quarterbacks favor Doug Flutie, as you would guess tonight. Billy Joe Tolliver in his first CFL season, 11 of 15 for 163 yards. Flutie has 203 yards passing. He's tossed for 2 touchdowns, taken 1 in himself, and handed off for the other one. Mayfield makes the catch far side on second down, and that's a good play for the Pirates. It'll be a first down for Billy Joe Tolliver and Curtis Mayfield.
I think that's Mayfield's first catch of the evening. They haven't really gone to him. He only caught 2 balls a week ago. He's a guy that has to figure prominently in their offense because of his numbers a year ago with Las Vegas, and what they translated into was an average of 19.9 a catch. I mean, you talk about a guy that can stretch a defense, and tremendous leaper going up high to get footballs.
Pirates out at the 42. First down. Tolliver goes to the far side again and overthrew Martin Patton. They use Patton as a 5th receiver coming out in some schemes.
Yeah, they have an interesting offense. Their 5-pack is really with the running back, as you say, Martin Patton, 6'1", 203. They feel he can play the slot or wide receiver, so they don't have to shuffle receivers in and out of the ball game.
2nd and 10 Pirates at the 42. Tolliver stands in, fired at the last moment behind the receiver. The catch is made, and Ron Harris is on the way down to the 45-yard line. His first catch of the ball game. So Mayfield and Harris involved in the offense in the last couple of plays.
And Billy Joe Tolliver really willing to hang in, take the hit to deliver this football. There you see the jam by Ken Leonard fails, and Harris turns it to the inside with a nice reception. And well, I'll tell you, it is just a matter of time for this receiving core. If Tolliver can get time to find them, it's a good group, and they can really cause some problems.
Talking about Mayfield with 1,200 yards last year with Las Vegas. Harris 1,200 yards here in Shreveport last season on 86 catches. He had 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, 2 times over 1,000 yards he was in 93 and 94 with Sacramento. Nice free agent signing.
23 yards the gain there, and Stu Laird, the veteran Calgary Stampeder defensive lineman, is shaken up.
Yeah, really one of the unsung heroes over the years of the Calgary defense. Hard to believe this is his 12th season. Last year, 2nd best year he ever had with 9 sacks. And boy, anybody on Calgary's defense will tell you, hey, this guy is a real inspiration to all of us. The friendly fireman on that defensive line.
144th CFL game tonight for Stu Laird. 94, they say, was his best year yet. And that was year 11. He's in his 12th CFL season.
Benson is 14 years old today. She's having a birthday and joined the Pirates. Let's hear for your offense.
1st and 10 Pirates. Just inside the Calgary 45. Tolliver sends 3 receivers to the far side of the field. It comes to the near side, looking for Walker. Touchdown! Two on the night for Wayne Walker.
Yeah, give Wayne Walker credit and Billy Joe Tolliver. The Calgary Stampeders were in their nickel defense. Al Jordan, the extra defensive back, comes in. They have double coverage on the outside to Walker, but Jordan doesn't get over in time to help out Marvin Coleman on the corner. And Walker, once again, it's that deceptive speed. People just don't take his speed seriously, and that's the 2nd long bomb he's caught tonight.
He's been the top receiver so far in 95. Couple of touchdowns tonight. And the Pirates close within 2. Billy Joe Tolliver celebrating his 2nd touchdown toss to Wayne Walker. Yes.
Great job. You see Marvin Coleman lining up and bump and run, and a little steps to the outside. He is beaten, but he's hoping that Al Jordan can come over and help him out. You see Jordan just at the end doesn't get there quick enough, and Wayne Walker just using some tremendous speed, but it's the jitterbug steps at the line of scrimmage that froze Coleman initially. Walker has his second. What a terrific night. That's
Some
pretty
kind of
good
night.
numbers, yeah.
5 catches, 143 yards, a couple of touchdowns. And with 9:03 to play in the third quarter, the Pirates are back in the ball game, trailing by 2 touchdowns.
Not a bad average, almost 30 yards of reception for one night's work, and he's still not finished.
Coleman for the Stampeders beginning at the 11. There's room to the far side. Basinger is out there, slowed him down. Enough for the tackle to be made by Bradford. And Billy Joe Tolliver covered 80 yards in 5 plays in a time of 2:41. 45 yards to Wayne Walker. Second time that combination has produced 6 points tonight.
You know, the way Tolliver steps up into the pocket, does he not remind you of David Archer, though?
Well, that's what Wally Buono was saying. He's got Archer style, and he's got that NFL ability to stand in the pocket and throw, but a little bit more mobile. I don't think David Archer is that mobile a quarterback. That seems to be the book on him.
No, I think you've got a point there, but that pocket sets up, and he is very willing to step up into it and deliver a strike off his front foot. He's looking pretty solid.
Johnny Scott has had a tough night. He's played well, but he's been down a couple of times and being helped off again. A night like this can be a little bit tough for some of the guys, some of the big guys up front. 14 of 19, 242. Not bad, not bad. Couple of touchdowns. Thinking back to the first half when the Pirates were down inside the 5-yard line, first down, and came away empty.
Well, you look at those numbers. He had that's more tonight than he had a week ago against San Antonio, so you know he's improving.
But Doug Flutie is not finished for the evening. Stampeders set up 1st and 10 at the 34. Flutie play action. To his right, Sapunjas the catch. He'll have a first down and yards to spare out near midfield. Sapunjas makes it look so easy. And that's a terrific combination, number 20 to number 25.
Well, when Dave Sapunjas is here as the third receiver and he's got Pitts running up through here, I mean, this is a pretty easy pattern for him. He just straightens up the defensive back, and then look how much field he has to work to the outside. A little rub from his partner Pitts, and absolutely no way you can cover that.
Sapunjas, another first down. Stampeders set up just inside Shreveport territory at the 54. Loose ball, but after the whistle. Whistle had definitely gone, no matter what Alex Mash thought.
Yeah, and look who's back in the ballgame in a hurry. Tony Stewart.
Stewart, if you missed it, out of the ballgame for 3 plays, just enough for his backup Tyrone Edwards to come in, carry the ball 3 times for 39 yards and get a touchdown.
And he probably said to Tyrone on the bench, hey, nice run, but I'll take the next series.
I'm fine. Terry Vaughn near side.
You know, as a head coach, though, what a terrific opportunity to see that a guy you think is good can play well.
Second down. Here's Alan Pitts, and he can't keep his feet, or he would have been in the end zone. Pitts got in behind Harold Nash, and Nash is a little upset. They're a little pushing down there.
Well, Nash does not show a lot of respect for Pitts. I'm trying to get the jam on him, and when you miss, it's pretty tough to stay with it. Alan Pitts with the stride he has, and as Pitts delays, it creates a little bit of contact that gives him the separation that he needs. Once again, I mean, he caught 11 balls a week ago in their opener against Memphis, and again tonight.
36 for Alan Pitts, setting the Stampeders up inside the 15-yard line at the 12.5. 1st and 10 Calgary. Flutie sends 3 receivers to the near side. Fires out for Vaughn, and Vaughn is down inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line.
Flutie's pass complete to Terry Vaughn.
Terry Vaughn, number 2, the newcomer, at one of the wide receiving spots for the Stampeders.
And Doug Flutie's done a nice job tonight spreading it around to keep everybody involved. He's given enough balls to Terry Vaughn. Of course, all the other receivers have had their share of catches tonight, so you have to appreciate. Don't think he doesn't think about that, because he does. If somebody's not getting their share of balls, Doug Flutie consciously makes an effort to make sure they get some.
Last week in the Stampeders' victory, used all 6 receivers again, and he's spreading it around, as you mentioned tonight. 2nd and 3 at the Stewart has come up with a football, and we'll see what happened here, but it was Stewart and Flutie not quite communicating, and the Pirates were all over it.
Well, Doug Flutie really never got the handle on the snap from center. There you see him looking around, and lucky Tony Stewart was alert. Actually, he takes a pretty good shot covering up for his buddy making that recovery.
3rd and 5 at the 7-yard line. Well, Edwards is in on this field goal situation. McLaughlin has been perfect all season. No reason to change now. 5 for 5 the other night, and he's perfect so far this evening. Mark McLaughlin coming off a sensational year in 1994. And he adds to the Stampeder lead at 34-17. This is CFL Live. And back here in Shreveport, Stampeders on top by 17. They have doubled the counts on the Pirates so far. Mark McLaughlin with a little chip shot field goal to add to the total after the Pirates had scored on a rather sensational touchdown toss. Tolliver hitting for 49 yards for Wayne Walker. This is Basinger on the return. Out across the 35, stopped at the 38-yard line.
That's the tough thing about Calgary, though, John. I mean, Shreveport scores on the big play, and then Calgary methodically back down the field to, knock off 3 points with the field goal. But, they just don't let other teams get back into a rhythm against them once they have a lead. And that's the measure of a great team is, how well do you play with a lead? Some teams have trouble doing it. Calgary doesn't usually have any trouble doing it.
Tolliver's getting a pretty good workout against a solid defense. Calgary Stampeders in 1994 led the league in 11 defensive categories. On first down, Tolliver and Junior Smith. And it's tough running to the outside on the Stampeders, as you see there.
CFL Live, brought to you in part by 3M Canada, imagining the unthinkable and developing the unknown. That's 3M Innovation at Work.
4:51 to go, third quarter. Billy Joe Tolliver and the Shreveport Pirates facing 2nd and 11. Tolliver has to put it up. Chance to get it away, and he's on target. It'll be a first down to Will Covington. Second catch of the ball game for Covington out around the 55. Big play for the Pirates right there on 2nd and 11.
Yeah, and I think the offensive line right now is doing a pretty good job giving Tolliver time to throw. And for Forrest Gregg and Joe Barnes, the offensive coordinator, I think they should be really pleased with the progress that the offense has made in this game tonight. I mean, they've only scored 17 points, but I think for the most part, they should be happy with the way they've been able to produce.
At midfield, 1st and 10 Pirates. This is Junior caught in the backfield one more time. Junior Smith, number 1. 4 carries for 9 yards last week, and Shreko Zizakovic was in on that one. 14 games for the Stampeders. Played in 2 Grey Cups. He's 1-1 in the big one. 1 win, 1 loss.
Yeah, I love the way he talks about his brother Lubo, his younger brother. He said, Lubo's not bad. The only thing he lacks is a little respect for his more refined older brother.
Yeah, I tell you, Lubo's a little bigger than Shreko, You can't say that for too long, I'm sure. A little holding detected down there as Tolliver tries to escape and looks to the far side. No one in the vicinity, but holding would be the initial indication there where the penalty marker came down. Tolliver couldn't expect to have help forever.
Holding, Shreveport 69. Penalties declined, 3rd down.
Ben Jefferson. I believe that's the 2nd time tonight he's been singled out.
And he's not hard to find out there. 6'9", 335.
Penalties. That's a touchdown right there. 111 yards.
Well, some nights you can get away with it if they're not crucial, but for the amount of yardage that those 10 penalties have generated, 111 yards, I mean, that is just next to impossible to overcome.
And the Stampeders have been able to take advantage of some of those penalties, thinking back to an interference call that kept a Calgary drive going and set the Stampeders up in around the 30-yard line.
Shreveport, number 6.
Robbie Keane didn't like the formation. They appear to be a man short. Coming out onto the field now is Montgomery, so they were likely playing American football with 11 guys out there.
You know, I don't think there's any question that Shreveport is way ahead, of course, of where they were a year ago, but still, the little things seem to haunt young teams, and not having enough men out there, the penalties we just talked about, and these are things that Forrest Gregg's going to have to sit down with his young team and have a serious chat about. If they want to be contenders in the Southern Division, which is possible.
Well, because it's
sure 2 new teams.
After Baltimore, you've got to be looking at fairly wide open areas.
Well, I think San Antonio's a lot better.
San Antonio will be better, yes.
But I mean, Shreveport has to be saying, look, we're in a hot competition with Memphis and Birmingham for the final playoff spot. There's one Canadian team that come down and join them. But
well, they haven't announced that yet,
I think it's a done deal.
I think it is too, but I don't think it's been officially made. According to Wally last night, he was talking about the playoff format, and it still had to be ratified by the Players Association. I think your suggestion is correct that 3 American teams from the South would make the playoffs, and then 5 Canadian teams, and 1 going down into a wild card situation onto the American side of the Southern Division. Here's Coleman. And the Pirates try and grab it away from Marvin Coleman after a 47-yard kick. No go. Still a little to cheer about. Pirates not quite out of it yet. They trail by 17. That's the story here. Calgary on top by 17. Third quarter following the game. The TSN turning points for Royal LePage. And we're back in time for the Stampeders' first down. Doug Flutie at the controls. Beginning at the 23. He engineered a field goal on his last possession. And he's got the Stampeders into first down territory again, connecting with Alan Pitts. Perry over to make the tackle as Pitts came back and tried to get a few extra yards. He was definitely in first down territory when he made the catch.
Yeah, and here's what's so good about Alan Pitts. He's working against the zone, and as he comes down, he just feels into the open area. Now, he makes a mistake of going backwards when he catches the football, and Ron Perry, the linebacker, 34, catches up with him. But watch the technique of Pitts. Now, he's just looking, hey, I'm going to settle down right here because I know the ball's coming, and I got lots of room. But, boom, Perry shows up and gives him a pretty good shot in the head.
Pitts does have enough for the first down, just barely.
Well, he does it to you. I mean, man-to-man, he's had a couple of touchdown catches tonight in the zone. He just eats it alive. He's a tough guy. That's an understatement.
Tony Stewart, number 21.
Stewart, the ball carrier. Dante Osborne, the tackle.
Alan Pitts on the evening, 97, a couple of touchdowns, and we talked about Tom Porzani's long-standing Stampeder all-time touchdown mark of 62. Alan Pitts is within 1 after making his 61st earlier tonight.
Well, I mean, he's just amazing. A year ago, 126, a new league record in receptions, broke his old record, and he had 118.
2nd and 6, Sapunjas the catch, and let's see where they spot the ball. Anthony Shelton, the tackle on Dave Sapunjas. And it's close. We may need a measurement on this one.
That's the more aggressive play that I think Shreveport needs from their secondary. As soon as Sapunjas breaks down right here, claps his hands, and 23 Shelton's going to show up in a hurry with a pretty solid hit around the neck. But, as a defensive back, you get your chance at those receivers. You want to make them pay and not be too interested in catching any more footballs for the night.
It'll be a first down. Sapunjas by inches. Previous play, Alan Pitts got his first down by inches. Stampeders a very precise team at times. Now from the 43, Flutie has a first down. Just under a minute to go in the third quarter with Calgary leading 34-17 in the Shreveport Pirates. Flutie shotgun stands up as a man open. Alan Pitts And Pitts is over 100 yards as a result of that catch. A lot of 100-yard receiving games for Alan Pitts.
Yeah, for poor Harold Nash, he's been the victim tonight. Pitts really tough, you know, takes that move to the inside. Good speed turn by Nash, but, you know, of course, the ball is in the air, and that's the thing about Flutie and Pitts. They work together so well. As soon as Pitts took that step to the inside, the ball was in the air to the outside, and as a defensive back, I mean, that's almost impossible to cover if Flutie has that kind of time to throw.
Stampeders are really an inside passing team. I mean, the two keys to this offense are Sapuntis and Pitts, and Flutie shares it pretty equally between them.
Yeah, and Wally Buono talked about that last night. He said, we have to make a conscious effort to involve our wide receivers.
It goes like guys like Terry Vaughn, who just missed that one.
Keep other teams honest. We have to use Pee Wee Smith and Terry Vaughn. And, you know, we consciously think about that early in the ball game. And I think if you recall, Pee Wee Smith and Vaughn caught some balls in the first quarter.
Earlier in the game, and the inside game has opened up a little bit later on.
Absolutely. They're going to tell defenses, hey, you better respect our outside guys, because we will use them if you try and double and jam inside.
Another ho-hum night.
Illegal procedure. Calgary 87. Penalties declined. Second down.
Well, there's no question, John, the key, you know, you play Calgary and everybody says, well, what can you do to stop them? In my mind, the only way you upset them is if you can get pressure on Flutie somehow. Hands in his face or do whatever you can. But if he's allowed the kind of time to throw, there's really not a defense in the league that can handle it.
He was sacked once early in this ball game. Now Flutie from the shotgun.
Unless the weather gets cold.
Unless the weather is a little chillier. Here's Pitts again, or check that. Danielson. Vince Danielson, number 88. Another receiver who's come back into the ball game, or at least come back into the offense. He caught a couple earlier. That'll be the end of the third quarter, and the Calgary Stampeders continue the march toward the Shreveport end zone. Heading to the fourth quarter, the Stampeders are on top, 34-17, as we send you.
Lamar's been ejected. Let's go back to the ball game, gentlemen.
All right, and here's Doug Flutie. Intended that for the newcomer, Kevin Reed, number 87.
Pass incomplete. It's intended for Kevin Reed.
2nd and 10 at the 32. Wally Buono, the winningest coach in the Canadian Football League in the 90s. His record coming into this game is an amazing 66-24-1 regular season.
Very organized coach, and I think one thing that really helps him is he's always picked good assistants to be around him. Guys like John Huffnagel and Bob Vespasiani, Frank Sweeney, and oh boy, good group.
2nd and 10, Flutie looks deep, and that one didn't quite find the receiver. There's a penalty marker down, and I'm not sure what they saw there. Harold Nash was back there covering. Nash has had a tough time lately. Here it
Forward
is.
pass interference. Shreveport 0-0. First down.
Did you see this one, Lee? We'll have to look again. More frustration for Forrest Gregg.
Yeah, frustration too for Harold Nash in coverage. You'll see Pitts on the wheel, the out and up, and here's some contact right here as Nash works into him. He knows he's in trouble as Pitts goes to the up, and he creates the contact, and the officials felt it was enough.
Setting up the Stampeders, 1st and 10 at the 13. Here's Flutie heading for the corner, and he steps out about 3 yards shy of the goal line. Flutie has been into the end zone once along the ground, so he was aiming for his 2nd rushing touchdown of the evening.
Yeah, and the play fake just holds everybody. Alex Mash takes one step down to the inside, and that's all it takes. He can't get out and get the containment, and Flutie comes up a little bit short, but nevertheless, that play fake inside created so much open field for him.
Is he limping a little bit out there, Leaf? He was.
Yeah, I think he is.
Shaken up a bit earlier in the game. Actually not hit, but fell to the ground in an awkward position.
So production in the red zone, which was a problem a week ago, has not been tonight.
1st and goal to go from the 3. And no penalty flag there, but there might have been.
I think Harold Nash, as I said, shot his shot there because he decided he was going to climb all over Pitts, and you know, I'm either going to get called or you're going to make a heck of a play, because he challenged him, and you have to like that. He's saying, I've had enough of this. I'm going to get in his face and challenge him, and I don't think there's any question it was interference. He kind of got away with one.
He's going to bring a step ladder to the next game. He has to cover Alan Pitts. It's a bit of a mismatch in height and experience. Second and goal to go from the 3. Stampeders. Flutie should have the touchdown. It's a walk for Tony Stewart. Stewart was all alone, and that was well set up by the Stampeders. Stewart from 3 yards out. Look at this, slowed right down and just glided across the line.
Yeah, breakdown in coverage. Stewart came out of the backfield, nobody there. Coming on the blitz, there you see it, Dante Osborne inside, and the linebacker or the middle safety, whoever had Stewart in coverage, one of those 2 players just had a breakdown, didn't get out there.
We didn't have to slow that run down after he made the catch. He was into the end zone in slow motion. Tony Stewart has another touchdown. Stampeders add to the lead. It is now 41-17. Calgary leading the Shreveport Pirates with 13:07 to go in the final quarter at Independence Stadium.
Now, pretty easy for Doug Flutie. Right away, he recognizes there's a coverage breakdown, and all he's thinking is, how fast can I get it to Tony Stewart before they recover? Gets it to him quickly, and nobody shows up, and Tony Stewart can just walk into the end zone, and Calgary's had everything pretty much their own way here in the second half tonight. Pretty routine night for Doug Flutie. Once again, it's the pressure. If you don't get it on him, he will destroy you, as he has done. Stampeders will not return home to Calgary after this game. They play Ottawa next Thursday night. John and I will be there to bring you that game, so they will travel there tomorrow morning. And rather than go home and get on the planes and come back, I think it's a pretty good move. They'll have some quality practice time on the road. And, you know, much like in hockey, the hockey players say, hey, oftentimes we like to get on the road together. It helps us for the camaraderie. And I don't think there's any question Wally Buono's kind of thinking along those lines, too, to work in some new young players.
Yeah, except these guys are all going to miss the Stampede. That's on in Calgary right now.
That's right.
Stampeders out of town while the Stampede's on. They don't usually play during that time.
You know,
but usually they get a chance to go home and ride a pony or 2.
I asked some of the guys, you know, is the Stampede after all these years still a big thing? And they said, you betcha, we love it.
Montgomery out to the 35-yard line, make it the 36, and Billy Joe Tolliver heads back in to try and answer the challenge set down by Doug Flutie. 9 plays, 87-yard drive that time, and Stewart with an easy touchdown from 3 yards out on the pass from Doug Flutie. So Flutie has thrown a couple to Pitts, one to Stewart, carried for one himself, and the new running back in the Calgary lineup got in long enough to score one too.
Now he's working on marketing.
Yes.
Working on some marketing down there.
Tolliver looking for Basinger. Now there's a penalty flag down in the Stampeder secondary, well away from Basinger, who's the closest receiver to the ball. That's Flutie, F-L-U-T-I-E. I'm Darren's brother.
Forward pass interference. Deliberate. Calgary 37. First down.
So a little bit of a break for the Pirates there.
Interesting move. You see Matt Finley there, 37. We really haven't talked about it tonight. It hasn't been a factor in the game, but he has moved from the outside linebacking spot to the middle. And he likes playing in there, and that allowed Marvin Pope to go to the outside. They'll move Pope all over the place this year and use him much more as a pass rusher than they did when he was the middle linebacker. Subtle change the Calgary's made on defense for 95.
Tolliver on first down from the shotgun. I don't think he'll get it away.
That's great effort by Will Johnson. I mean, he works hard to get that sack. He comes a long way. You know, he's working on Donnell Johnson at the top here. Watch, he comes all the way around with the speed rush. But the thing you love about Will Johnson is the tenacity he brings to the game. A lot of guys might stop right there when Tolliver steps up, but he keeps coming and picks up the sack.
Johnson led the Stampeders and the CFL with sacks in 1994, 17. Tolliver had nowhere to go that time. closest receiver was Curtis Mayfield, number 89.
And I'll tell you, that's Mayfield's fault. You know, Tolliver's been around a long time to know that when the hole opens up in the zone and you get the lane, that's where you have to put the football in. Kind of an inexperienced play by Mayfield. Once you get into that hole, you better stay there. Now, he's got to stop right there. Now, see, he slides it in too far, and that's where you're going to get into trouble with the linebackers. Tolliver threw it to the opening. Mayfield has to make the adjustment. But there again, you know, they need time to work on these things.
Robbie Keane. Across the 30, barely got it away. High kick, Coleman. Away from a couple, but there's not much space up the middle for Marvin Coleman. 39-yard punt from Keane that time. Stampeders will be 1st and 10 when we return to Shreveport.
Welcome back to CFL Control. It's now a final in Hamilton. The Ticats win by a score of 31-13. Anthony Tavia with a couple of touchdown passes. He did have to leave the game due to injury. We'll try and update it before the end of our show. Let's go back to John and Leaf at Shreveport.
Ticats with their 2nd win of the season. Good football story in Hamilton.
Well, you have to like it for Don Southern, who's in his first full year as the head coach of that team, and they made some great acquisitions in the offseason that are paying off, and I'm happy for them.
They were billing it as the fish fry with the Barracudas coming to town.
That's
so I
pretty
guess
good.
They fried the fish.
I like that.
11:24 to go, 4th quarter. Stampeders 1st and 10. And Garcia's in for Flutie at quarterback. Garcia rolling to his right, finds Sapunjas.
Jeff Garcia, the new quarterback for Calgary,
has not seen a great deal of playing time because Doug Flutie likes to play a lot. 2 for 4 and 17 yards last season when he did get into the football action. Jeff Garcia out of San Jose State.
He had a good preseason game. The Wally Buono was saying last night. In fact, I asked him, you know, like, would you be comfortable with Garcia?
And that's where Wally double clutched a little bit.
He did double clutch. He said, well, I mean, I think he has the credentials, but, you know, we really haven't seen him. He played well in preseason for us, but, you know, that doesn't necessarily count.
There's a chance to get a little playing time with the Stampeders comfortably in front, and Garcia has contact there. But Vaughn lost a lot of yards after making the catch. It was a decent run. Penalty markers are down. As Terry Vaughn made the catch, looked to be about halfway to a 1st down, but it was 2nd down, and that wasn't going to be enough, so Vaughn took off the other way.
That's a lot of running on a hot night for not a lot of yardage. Do you know what I liked about Jeff Garcia?
Illegal block. Calgary 23. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
That's Tyrone Edwards with the illegal block.
You always look at a young quarterback to see what kind of technique he has, and as Garcia was waiting and waiting for that to develop, he kept those feet moving. And I always remember the quarterback coaches saying to the quarterbacks I played for, time and time again, they'd say, keep those feet moving. When you stop and you're standing still, it's tough to deliver the football. And, well, he really did it nicely on that play.
Stampeders will kick it away on 3rd and 7. Martino back at the 25. Freeman Basinger waits for it at his 18. And he's found a little bit of a window there to the outside, but it was quickly closed. 52-yard kick there. Stampeders comfortably in control on a hot night in Shreveport. It's 41-17.
Welcome back to CFL Control. It's a final Baltimore 50-20. Carlos Huerta with 5 field goals in the game. The Stallions are now 1-1.
How about that? The horse with no name has a name. The Baltimore Stallions.
Yeah, I like it. And they come back with a vengeance after losing out to BC last Friday night. 50 points they scored tonight. Talk about additions to clubs. You know, we've talked about additions both these teams have made. Carlos Huerta with 5 field goals, as Darren mentioned, is a nice addition for Baltimore.
Bradford, the ball carrier that time, number 2, getting into the Pirate lineup late in the game. 9:31 to go, 4th quarter. Stampeders leading 41-17. Calgary scored at will a couple of times in the ball game. And here's a big charge. He got it away. Tolliver to Basinger, number 7.
Boy, Calgary 41-17, and they're still coming at Tolliver. Here comes Gerald Vaughn on the halfback blitz to get the initial pressure, and they're not letting up. Hey, they want to see some of their defenses too. I quite understand this, and they want to see how their players perform in certain blitz situations.
Tolliver running for his life there, got it away. Markers are down as Tolliver looks long for Curtis Mayfield, and Mayfield can't catch up to it. How far was that in the air?
About 60.
About 60. He's got an arm.
Well,
He may not have the offensive line he needs. I think this is holding.
Offside.
Oh, hang on.
Calgary 91. Holding. Shreveport 69.
I was partly
5
right.
yards against Shreveport. Down repeated.
So they'll repeat the down on the penalties, one going each way. Wally doesn't understand why that would happen. Stampeders led the CFL in 14 defensive categories. I think I said 11 a little bit earlier, and 16 on offense in 1994. Superb season, 15-3. One playoff win, and then the forgettable playoff loss in Calgary. Here's Mayfield from Tolliver. He's out near the 45-yard line.
Well, that's what you want to do, 1st and 15. Just try and get some of it back. And a smart call by Tolliver. Mayfield on the hitch. Pretty tough pattern for Kim Phillips to cover on the corner. They get a good half of it back right there on one catch.
2nd and 7. Pirates have in 6 receivers. There's Patton making the catch, number 5.
Tolliver's pass is complete to Martin Patton.
And that should flip the down marker.
Terrific recognition by Billy Joe Tolliver. He quickly saw that once again Gerald Vaughn was coming on the halfback blitz to the right side, and as soon as Vaughn came, he knew that Greg Knox, the middle safety, would have a long way to go to cover his running back, and he got it to him in a hurry. Boy, you know, that 6 years experience with San Diego, Atlanta, and Houston pays off. You've seen a few blitzes, and then it just becomes recognition and how quickly you can get rid of the football to the right guy.
Injured Stampeder appears to be Lubos Zizakovic. He had 17 games for the Stampeders last year. And saw action here in the Independence Bowl a couple of years ago. 4th year in the CFL. He began his career with the Tiger Cats. A couple of Texans talking it over. Forrest Gregg and Billy Joe Tolliver.
This reminder, be sure to stop by your locally owned and operated Johnny's.
Tolliver has had his moments tonight, but he has not been the equal of Doug Flutie by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, you talk about pressure once again, Gerald Vaughn, but see how quickly Tolliver reads it, and he knows where to go with the football, and that was the exact spot to go. A long way for Knox to come.
Lubos Zizakovic helped to the sidelines on the far side of the field.
It's good to see that from a quarterback. Yeah, fool me once, because maybe I wasn't expecting that hammer blitz, but the second time, I see it coming, and I can throw to the right area.
Lubo is 6'8", so he towers over Pat Clayton and Chris Fleming. From the Stampeder medical staff.
What would they do if he had to put his arms on their shoulders like they do sometimes to have to get him off? I think they'd
have to call for help.
You betcha.
Tolliver standing in, got it away just in time, and it's picked up at the last second as Kenton Leonard jumped in front of that one.
Yeah, the illusion of the zone defense. You know, initially, I got a guy wide open down the sidelines. They've blown the coverage. And all of a sudden, Kenton Leonard comes out of nowhere in that zone. He's got the deep third, and you see Knox sliding that way too. But Tolliver thinks, hey, I've got a home run here. But boom, Leonard from nowhere slides way across. Tremendous speed, steps in front of Walker, and has the interception.
Ken Leonard played a little football in these parts at Nicholls State here in Louisiana.
I see.
Tolliver's a little disappointed in himself.
Well, he knows he got fooled by the zone. He's saying, I can't believe I did that.
Kent Leonard doesn't get a lot of interceptions. Stampeders on first down, and there's not much open on the left side. Kent Leonard, they talked about how great he would be if he had hands back there. He's just not the guy who comes up with clutch interceptions, but he's a very solid halfback and has been a mainstay of the Calgary defense for several seasons now, but hands of stone, they say.
Yeah, he's a terrific guy. He's overcome some very serious personal tragedies to continue on with his professional career and rise above all the things that have happened to him in his life. He's a real role model for a lot of young people.
Garcia at the controls for the Stampeders. And a strike there for Jeff Garcia on 2nd and 10.
Garcia's pass is complete.
Sapunjas making the catch out near the 45-yard line. Garcia's completed a couple. He's in relief of Doug Flutie, who had a big lead, and Wally Buono decided to give Garcia a chance and Flutie a bit of a rest. (41-17), Stampeders leading the Pirates. Time ticking down, fourth quarter, 6:28 to play. On first down, little running play.
Ball carrier. Down on the tackle.
Sean Daniels got the call.
Well, you talk about Alan Pitts and the kind of production he's had throughout his career. How about that? 81 regular season games and 35 have been 100 receiving yard games. That is pretty impressive. To go along with that, he's got a 72 consecutive game catching streak going. I mean, this guy has done it all.
And 61 career touchdowns, one shy of Tom Forzani's all-time Stampeder mark. He's got 2 here tonight. Garcia airs this one out and just a little bit too far for the newcomer Terry Vaughn, who didn't have quite enough speed to catch up to that one that time.
Well, I mentioned it looked as though Jeff Garcia had very, very good footwork for a young quarterback, and he uses that good footwork to elude the rush and could have had his first professional touchdown. Watch the quick feet right there to the outside. Gosh, he looks like a young Flutie, doesn't he?
Got some moves and didn't miss by all that much when you looked at it from that angle. 41-17, Stampeders on top of the Pirates. And Calgary into a punting situation. Tony Martino into the game. Martino has not had a very busy night. Good kicking team the Stampeders have, too. McLaughlin and Martino are a super tandem. Rod Harris ready to return for the Pirates. Away from the first Stampeder, but he got caught by the second wave. Alan Pitts enjoying another fine night. So the Stampeders at 41-17 on CFL Live.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out. Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Well, part of the Shreveport game plan is starting to work now. They were hoping some of the big Canadian guys would get tired and run out of gas. Unfortunately, as it happens here, 2 Stampeders cramping up a little bit. The score is already 41-17. And the new quarterback for the Pirates is Michael Johnson. Played a couple of games for the BC Lions a couple of years ago. He's a left-hander and unloads off target his first throw of the ball game.
Yeah, he played 8 games for Shreveport last year and kind of shuffled between the Arena League and then back with the Shreveport Pirates.
Ended up a starter for the Pirates in the last 4 games of last season and won 3 of those 4 as the Pirates finally got around to getting a few things rolling after going 0-14 to start the season. But Johnson finds himself in a backup role again with Billy Joe Tolliver as the starting quarterback. Here's Johnson on 2nd and 10. Likes to run a little bit, slides safely, but well short of a first down. 4:34 to go, fourth quarter. And it's been a long night for the Pirates. Third down, and they decide that there's nothing to lose as you check out Sapunjas on the bench talking to Zizakovic.
Come on, son!
3rd and 2 facing Johnson and the Pirates here. Patton gets the call, and let's see where they spot the ball. He's fairly close to the first down.
I think that little extra lunge at the end will get him the first down.
You think Martin Patton's nickname might be General?
Might be.
Might be. Someone has called him General somewhere all along the way, I'm sure. Stampeders on the verge of their 2nd straight victory. Pirates headed for their 2nd straight defeat. Billy Joe on the sidelines. He couldn't get it done tonight. A couple of touchdown tosses to Wayne Walker. But the Pirates really couldn't sustain it. They'd score, and then the Stampeders would come right back into the game and add even a field goal just to take the wind out of their sails. Johnson is pelted right there. Walker, number 99, in for the sack. There have been a couple of sacks by the Stampeders tonight.
Well, Kenny Walker played the rush end and now moved down to the tackle spot, and he gets good pressure on Michael Johnson. Little swim technique on the left guard, Chuck Reed, and boom, just throws him off, and Michael Johnson pays the price.
That makes it 2nd and 18. Johnson is down again. Stampeders showing relentless pressure as Pope gets through for another sack. Number 91, Marvin Pope. 2 minutes and 43 seconds to go in Shreveport. That means we've got the 3-minute warning. A rough night for Michael Johnson, and he's only been in the game for about a minute and a half.
As they roll into Ottawa, Flutie, fantastic this evening. 3 touchdown passes. What will he do against the Rough Riders? It's July the 13th. You can catch it only here on the Sports Network. It is a 7 o'clock start Eastern Time.
Yeah, Darren, you know, that's a matchup that really plays into the hands of a Doug Flutie. Loves to play against a defense that likes to blitz and come after him and take chances. And Ottawa blitzes about 70% of the time. It'll be the big test for them.
On 3rd down, Keene's kick at the 25, taken by Vaughn. Nice little opening for Vaughn. He's fired ahead on the tackle by Junior Smith. That was good for about 5 extra yards as Smith grabbed Vaughn and flipped him ahead. Flutie is still signing on the sidelines. Now their Knights with spectacular numbers for Doug Flutie. 22 of 33, 333 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, and he ran for 1 himself.
And I think Billy Joe Tolliver's numbers are excellent for only his 2nd CFL game. You know, almost 300 yards passing. I don't think you could ask for anything more for him right now. I think they should be extremely pleased. I mean, defense and penalties have really been the downfall for the Pirates tonight.
Meantime, it's Garcia at the controls for the Stampeders, rolling to his left. He's on target. It'll be a 1st down, Calgary. Alan Pitts has another catch. He's well over 100 yards receiving so far tonight, and with the 2 touchdowns.
And I think, yeah, I know it's late in the game and everybody's tired on defense, but I'm still impressed with the technique of young Jeff Garcia, the way he moves his feet, steps up into the pocket. He delivered a perfect strike, but see the difference, like Pitts is able to find the zone and stay in there. You know, Mayfield, of course, for Shreveport couldn't find the lane and stay in with it. Just difference in experience.
8th catch for Pitts, 139 yards on the night. There's catch. Well, it's not Pitts. That's Suppungus. He's been busy as well, and another 1st down for the Calgary Stampeders. The slot backs work so well for Doug Flutie, and Garcia hasn't let that escape him. He'll go inside and pass to 2 sure-handers like that.
Yeah, I think Suppungus signaled him because nobody came up in coverage on Suppungus, and you saw that Garcia, as soon as he got the ball, it was all he could do to get it to him as fast as he could. I really think between receiver and quarterback, they made that play up on the line of scrimmage just visually.
Stampeders threatening to add to their total. They already lead at 41-17 with 1:36 to play. But the backup quarterback's at the controls, and he wants to hit the end zone as well. Jeff Garcia. Far side. Sean Daniels makes the catch.
He hasn't touched the football a lot in the first 2 games.
He really hasn't, but they were happy to get him because he gives them another dimension. He's a solid blocker, but He has decent hands and can run with the football a little bit. That allows them to slide Stewart out as a 5th receiver at times.
Yeah, there you see as he came down, the 1 foot definitely hit the line at the same time. 5'11", 240 pounds, solid lead blocker as well.
2nd and 6, Stampeders at the 23. Garcia stands in and fires. Touchdown. He has a touchdown, and so does Terry Vaughn. Jeff Garcia to Terry Vaughn. One more for the Stampeder total, and Garcia celebrating for obvious reasons. He doesn't get an opportunity to play much behind Flutie because Flutie loves to play the game, but Garcia had a chance tonight. He played quite a bit in the 3rd quarter, engineered a solid drive here.
Now, you can't fault him for not wanting to get one in the end zone, and this is some serious zip on the football. The post by Vaughn hangs on, avoids the hit from Shelton coming across, and boy, what a lovely touchdown reception that was. Good solid pattern, willing to go in where he knows there's going to be traffic, and yet still concentrate well enough to make the touchdown reception.
And one more for Mark McLaughlin's total. He hasn't missed a thing all season. It's only game number 2, but he's hit all his field goals, and Garcia has a touchdown toss right there.
Yeah.
On his way to shake hands with Terry Vaughn in the end zone.
Yeah, that's quick as he's run tonight. Pretty clean effort for the Stampeders tonight.
A minute 23 remaining on a long night for the Pirates in Shreveport. That's the new wide receiver for the Stampeders.
Well, you know, not to take anything away from Brian Wiggins and Will Moore, who are terrific wide receivers with Calgary, but I mean, the replacements, Pee Wee Smith and Terry Vaughn, have done a terrific job tonight, and you know, life goes on, and I don't think Calgary's really missing a beat here.
Well, they haven't so far. We talked about it earlier that Flutie has spread the passes around to all his receivers, did so in week 1. He's done it again here tonight. Now Garcia comes in and uses a couple of receivers. He uses the inside guys and then goes to Vaughn, the newcomer, on the outside for the touchdown.
Yep.
Second meeting between the Stampeders and the Shreveport Pirates in team history. Calgary won 52-8 in the only meeting at McMahon Stadium in 1994. So the Pirates have improved by at least 9 points offensively with Billy Joe Tolliver, who's fired a couple of touchdown tosses tonight. This is Montgomery on the return for the Pirates. Loses his footing. He's down at the 45. Thought he was down about 5 yards earlier, but he stumbled ahead for a couple more.
The CFL live on TSN. Brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Bell Advantage Long Distance Services from the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies.
Michael Johnson at the controls for the Pirates for the final 1 minute 14 seconds. Sacked a couple of times early, got it away for Junior Smith that time, number 1. Now 1:06 to play. Stampeders move on to Ottawa for a date with the Rough Riders on Thursday night. We'll be there for that, along with these guys, Tony, Greg. Pretty solid safety. We haven't mentioned his name a whole bunch tonight, but Greg Knox is an extremely competent safety. A lot of people think he's the best.
Yeah, I think he is. I wouldn't argue with that. One All-Canadian a year ago and 10 interceptions. Tough to say that he's not one of the best, if not the best.
10 interceptions at that spot.
That's huge.
Yeah, did earn him All-Canadian status, but it's not an area where you get the opportunity to get up into those high numbers. Although we looked at Remy Trudel on opening night. He got a couple in his first game for the Ottawa Rough Riders and takes a start en route to becoming a guy who could hit 10. So it'll be Remy versus Greg at Frank Miller Stadium on Thursday night. And Danny versus Doug and a whole bunch of other matchups.
Yeah, Brent Young and Gary Lewis, the two inside halfbacks for Ottawa, are going to really have their hands full.
Yeah, they'll be watching Sapunjis and Pitts in this one. And that one, a one-hopper from Michael Johnson. 44 seconds to go in Shreveport.
You know, one thing about Brett Young and Gary Lewis, though, even though they lost in Toronto, I've been impressed with the aggressiveness of the secondary of Ottawa. I mean, they're willing to take some chances, and my goodness, you have to, as much as they will blitz. They may not blitz as much against Doug Flutie, but I'm looking forward to that matchup. See if Ottawa can regroup after a tough loss in Toronto the other night.
Got to give the Argos some credit for hanging on to that victory, though.